Hello, I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday, a wonderful Tuesday. Today is such a beautiful day outside. Oh my gosh, I woke up. Look, my day started off rocky. Okay, I'm going to tell you that. My day started off rocky. I did not realize that I didn't hear my alarm this morning. It either did not go off or in my sleepy haze, I shut it off and I didn't hit snooze. I was just like, be quiet. I turned it completely off. I have no idea what happened because the next thing I knew, I'm like waking up and I didn't even know if it was early or late until I looked at my phone. Like, I have no idea if my alarm went off this morning. But I woke up late. I woke up really late. I actually I'm behind in a lot of stuff because I woke up really late this morning. Yeah. So I'm just like my day kind of it's so rocky. I hate when like I'm so tired that I sleep through my alarm and then I wake up and I have no idea what time it is. I hate those days because those days just starts off terrible. It's like I don't like it. My day has started off. I'm trying to get it back on track now. I'm trying to get my day back on track. Right? Have to catch up with a lot of stuff now. But welcome. Hello everyone. Welcome to TikTok Talks. All right. We talk about viral stories going on TikTok, viral topics that are happening on TikTok, viral trends that are going on TikTok. So we need to keep track of that stuff. All right. TikTok is unfortunately a part of our everyday life. And I don't see it going anywhere. Right. So we have to, I like to keep track of, viral stories on TikTok. And today, oh my gosh, we have something to talk about. I originally had different topics for today. I'm going to have to push those topics to next week because this story that we're going to talk about that went like hyper viral. I mean, it went ultra viral. People were sucked in. You were sucked into this story. I'm not even going to lie. I debated doing an all-day stream dedicated to this woman's story. I was like, there's no way that I can just talk about and condense it. I mean, I could, right? But you got to hear it from like her experience because you are just drawn into this lady's story. You will sit there and just listen to it. I did that, okay? I had her on in the background while I was like running errands, while I was doing stuff around the house, while I was editing. I was listening to this lady's story because you just can't help but get sucked into it. I'm like, holy crap. All of this happened. All of this happened to one person. I could not believe it. All right. I could not believe it. Oh my gosh. So we're going to talk about her story. We're going to talk about this woman's story today. I'm going to try and give you like all the details. I'm going to try and give you a quick like summary of it because I was blown away. I was blown away by this lady's story. I could not believe it. Oh my goodness. But before I do that, let me say hi to everybody. Hello, everybody that's here hanging out with me on TikTok day. It's TikTok day. I didn't get a drink. I didn't get a drink today. I know I usually started off with like a shot on TikTok Tuesday, but I need to be like I need my mind to be clear because I want to make sure that I get all the details right in the story because it's crazy. I have a coffee here, okay? I have a coffee. That's what I have today. I have a coffee. Let's say hello. TD is here. Hi, TD. Mr. Bentham Retro. Mr. Toxicity. The real Steven, what's up? Jonathan Chasser. My celebrity. Hi, Jonathan. Dude, Jonathan. Jonathan made me laugh on his stories the other day because he put Squidward's laugh on his stories on Instagram. He's like, oh my god, I started laughing. Tara is here. Hi, Tara. Corey, Tazrin. What is going on? How you doing, Mad Master Portkey and Bruce? Mike has bad knees. I'm here for the cringe. Let's go, dude. Today, okay, look. I don't know. Would you consider today's story cringe? I have no idea. But the reason I want to talk about was because this story, okay, this lady's experience, this lady's story went like hyper, it went ultra viral. on TikTok. I mean, people were invested, and when I say invested, let me tell you, people were invested because this this is a 50-part series on TikTok. 50-part series. 8 whole hours. Like, it is 8 hours, 50 part is it 8 hours? 7 hours. I think I'm gonna say over 7 hours, okay? She put out a 50-part series over 7 hours long, and she has it on her channel, or I'm sorry, she has it in her profile on TikTok, all right? She has it as a playlist because she said that it is intended to be listened to like an audiobook, all right? She goes into incredible detail in her story, regarding her ex-husband, all right? A 50-part series, and let me tell you, when I say you get invested in her story, you get invested because I listened to every single part 1 through 50 of this woman's story. Now, I didn't listen to it on TikTok because I'm gonna tell you, when she's telling the story, the reason why it's like over 7 hours long is because she addresses it as well on her TikToks. She does kind of speak a little slow. So what I did was someone got her story. It was like 1 through 30 and then 30 through 50 on YouTube, and I listened to it in 2 times speed, not even 1.5. Now, I usually watch videos on 1.5 speed. I watched her videos on 2 times speed because uh I mean she talks like she talks a little slow. She doesn't talk. I'm not saying that she's slow, but she talks slow. Like, she'll be telling her story like this, recalling everything that she experienced. And I think that the reason she's speaking this way is because she wants to make sure that she doesn't say anything that's wrong. She is in recall during this during her TikTok. So she's speaking, pretty slow. And so that's why I watched it at 2 times speed. So instead of investing, over 7 hours, I actually invested maybe like 3 or 4 hours, but I listened to her story from start to finish, and she actually did an update yesterday, which we will listen to, we will get to. But who am I talking about? All right, who am I talking about? Who am I talking about? All right, I am talking about let me share my screen really quickly. Do I wanna share my screen or my window? You know what? Let me just share my window, all right? Yeah, let me just share my window, and I'll share it like this. I am talking wait, should I share it like that? How should I share it? How should I share it? Like this? Like this? I'll share it like this for now. Look, I'm talking about Risa Tissa, all right? Risa Tissa, she is the lady behind the viral story, "Who the fuck did I marry?" All right? This is the woman telling her story, recalling her story, and look at this. Each and every look at how many people, all right, she got invested in her story. Each of these videos has millions of views because people were that invested. All right, people were that invested of her story. Her initial story part 1, "Who the fuck did I marry?" 36.8 views, all right? 36.8 views. This is the initial video right here that went, like, ultra viral. I mean, I can't believe how many people, and the people that stuck with her, 9 million views, 7 million views, 6, 7 million views. People are still discovering her story kinda like me and going through it and listening to her story. It's incredible. All right, so let's listen to this is the first video. You're gonna see why I ended up watching this in 2 times speed, okay? Oh, crud. No audio. Okay, so I have to share I can't all right, hold on. Let me share my screen a different way. All right, I can't share I have to share the tab because no audio. All right, there we go.
Please excuse the hair, but Here is part one of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So I met my ex-husband around March 4th of 2020. We met on Facebook dating site, and we also matched on Hinge. I did not realize that he was on both under two different names. So one was his actual name, and the other one was a variation, like a nickname um, that he called himself. Different pictures. So it was a running joke between us. Oh, you ain't even recognized that you had matched with me on Hinge. No, I didn't. And also, that should have been a red flag. By the way, you will notice in this story, I called it the United Nations of red flags. It is so many red flags that, I mean, you would have thought I was colorblind because I ignored all of them. So,
All right. So this is the story of Risa Tissa and her ex-husband, her now ex-husband, Legion. All right. And it is a 50-part series of what Legion put Risa Tissa went through, what Legion put Risa Tissa through. Okay. When she says that it is the United Nations of red flags, she is not exaggerating. She is not exaggerating one bit. All right. She is not exaggerating when she says United Nations of red flags. And this should have been like she said, it should have been a red flag already, right? She's on two different dating sites, Facebook and Hinge, under two different names, two different pictures. So I think like his face, she matched with him on Facebook. His Hinge profile was like his name, right? It was his full name on Facebook. On Hinge, it was like a nickname. It wasn't like his full name, like on Facebook. Um, but look, let's break down the story, okay? Let's break down the story of how did they marry, all right? Because this is just a web. This is a crazy web. It is crazy, 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 crazy. Um, Let me see. So she's recalling the story. She understands, all right? Risa Tissa, she understands that she made so many mistakes. She actually addresses this multiple times during this 50-part series, that she made so many mistakes. She turned a blind eye to so many lies that this man told her throughout their relationship. And she says that the reason that she did that was because, there are times when you are single and you get lonely and you see people on social media and they're having like their time. It is their time to be happy and being in a relationship. And so she said that she met this man, and this man just completely doted on her, and she thought, it's my time. It's finally my time. And she so desperately wanted it to be her time to have her person, and it was her time for happiness, that she completely ignored all of the red flags surrounding this man. And the things that he said, the things that he did, it's just mind blowing. Like, you listen to her story, right? You listen to her story and you think to yourself, oh my goodness. Like, how did she not notice then? How did she not notice then? But sometimes, men like this, men like her ex-husband, they are like masters at lying, at manipulating, at just, bringing down your self-esteem. It is incredible. It is incredible listening to her story, because I'm listening to it and I'm like, dude, I wouldn't have done that. Are you kidding? Like, after, I don't know. It is just, I would have like been, I would have been suspicious early on. And a lot of people in her comments, like listening to her story, are saying the same thing. Like, girl, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And she explains it like she so desperately wanted it to be her time that she just turned a blind eye. She just turned a blind eye to everything that happened. So it's insane. So Legion is the man that she met. Now, she met him, I think what did she say? March? Hold on. Yes, in March. Okay. So she met him in March of 2020 through Facebook dating, right? Um I'm actually reading something right now so that way I get the timeline right. Uh Now, Legion quickly wowed her, right? They went on a date, and it's so funny because on her way to he took her out, and he wanted to take her out to her favorite restaurant, which was the Cheesecake Factory. So he took her out to the Cheesecake Factory. On her way there, her car broke down. And she explains it like it must have been God, right? It must have been God telling her, do not go. Like, I'm trying to keep you from this man. Um, but he quickly wowed her. He came to her rescue when she was stranded at a gas station after her tire blew. So, that a lot of people are saying, and she agrees with them, that like that was God trying to intervene in her life, trying to keep her from going on this date with this man. But he came, and he showed up to the gas station. He changed her tire, and she thought that it was the sexiest thing in the world. Like, my knight in shining armor is coming over here to rescue me. And then they had a date. She said it went really well. He was very complimentary and everything. What's up, Zombie Box Reviews? How you doing? What's this? All right, so this is a series that I do on my channel called TikTok Talks. I go over like viral stories on TikTok, and I'm talking about this viral story that went ultra viral, hyper viral, whatever it's called, on TikTok, and it just captured so many people. All right, we're talking about Risa Tissa and her story about her now ex-husband, and her 50-part series called Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Um, you honestly, like, this story, you can't escape it. Like, if you are anywhere on TikTok, it'll get recommended to you. Someone watching it, um, someone reviewing it, someone reacting to it. It'll you can't miss it. I think I was talking to on toxic femininity last night. I as I was leaving, I, told the chat, I'm like, "Hey, I do TikTok Tuesdays, and tomorrow I'm gonna be going over the story, Who the Fuck Did I Marry?" Kara Lynn, her husband, was listening to the story. She was like, "I know that story," because like, her husband was listening to it. You get invested, all right? You get invested the way, and it's also, you get invested because of the way she tells the story. Her recall is incredible. Her recall is incredible. Um, that you just get invested. It is crazy. It's incredible. So yes, so she already knew what she was looking for in a man, So she explained that, she's not looking to date, she's dating to marry, all of that stuff. He mirrors that, right? He mirrors her, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I want marriage, I want a family, I want a house." He says, like, "As a man, I'm ready to get married, but I want it to be for real." All right? Because here's another red flag, right? Because, and he tells her about his ex. Now, he told her that he has been married once. Or keep that in mind. Little nugget, put it in the back of your mind. He told her that he'd been married once before, and he was really hurt by this woman, by his ex. "She cheated on me." That's what he said. "She cheated on me, so now I want something real. I need something real." So that's the backstory, right? He's only been married one time, and she cheated on him, and that's why they left. Um, What's up, Wiley Dave? How you doing? So he told her, right? They're getting to know each other. They're in this stage of talking. When they began dating, her husband, who she calls Legion, right? That's what she calls him. She calls in the story, she calls him Legion. He told her he worked for Apple in California before, right? So he's lived in, I think he says that he's lived in 4 different places, like Georgia, California, and 2 different places that I cannot remember. But he tells her, right, that he used to work for Apple before he moved to Atlanta, right? So they're living in Georgia, right? Moved to Atlanta, and he is vice president of a condiment company. That is his job. He is vice president of a condiment company. That is what he does for work. He told her that he went to college, in San Diego, right? That's because he lived in California, where he lived with his ex-wife. So he went to college in San Diego, and he also played arena football professionally, right? He played arena football professionally. He had a lot of siblings. He had like 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And I think he also had like 2 other brothers. Like, he had a large family. He told her he had a large family. Um and the fact that he was just like, "I played arena football." So that's what he was trying he's just trying to wow her, right? I need to suck this lady in. I am yeah, I have a great job. I'm vice president. I am VP of the condiment company. I've got my college degree from San Diego in California, and I used to play arena football. Okay. And she believes everything. Like, honestly, if someone's recalling, things that they've achieved in their past lives, like, why would they lie? Why would you lie? Why would you lie about any of that? So yeah, he completely sucked her in. He was doting on her and everything like that. They got serious really, really, really quickly. Okay. They got serious really quickly because I think, like she said, 2 weeks after they met, and she takes accountability for this, for how quickly she let this man into her life. Okay. Because very shortly after they met, COVID hit and they had to quarantine. And they had this conversation of like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to quarantine, and keep talking? So she invited him, like, to live with her at her house because he lived in an apartment. She had a house. And, like, after I think, like, 2 or 3 weeks, something like that, I can't remember, maybe even a month, they hadn't been dating for a long time. They hadn't been dating for a long time, that's all I know. It's like, I meet you, and I am right there. I am in your life, for real. Like, she invited this man to live in her house, and she was just like she said, looking back on it, it moved way too quickly, but she was very excited to find someone, right? She's very excited to find someone um, to love her, to be with her and everything. She really wanted it to be her time, so she invited this man to live with her house, really not knowing that everything that he's telling her is 100% bullshit, alright? Um, and a lot of times when and so, like, he is, he's living with they're living together, he's paying bills, he's paying the house, he's paying utilities, he's paying all of that, and he tells her, like, how much he makes and stuff like that. He has oh my gosh, we'll get to this part later, but the reason she didn't really doubt him was because, he started to take care of things, he started to pay for things, alright? And, if you so she's thinking like, "Oh, okay, like, he can take care of business," right? So she didn't have any reason to doubt this man, which is it's so scary. Oh my gosh, when I'm, like, listening to her story, it's so scary. But she does take accountability, and she does realize now that she moved way too fast. It moved way too fast, and I think that she says that, while she doesn't blame COVID for speeding up, what would have taken a while and, multiple dates and stuff like that. Um, she doesn't blame COVID for it, but she sort of says that, COVID, quarantining played a part in their relationships went going as fast as it did, right? But also, I'm sorry, the way she describes this man, he is a smooth talker. I honestly believe that even if quarantine, like, even if it didn't happen, he would have sweet talked his way into this lady's life, and he would have moved in regardless, alright? Regardless of whether or not they had to quarantine. Everything that he tells her, like, everything that he put her through, all of the lies, all of the deceit, I honestly think that he would have done it. He would have moved into her house regardless. It might have taken just a touch bit longer, but he would have ended up there, right? Um, so they chose to quarantine together during the start of the pandemic, and then, all right, then she learns that she is pregnant, right? She falls pregnant with his child. Now, this is crazy. This is crazy. So, when she falls pregnant with his child, she, goes to the doctor and gets a checkup, and he doesn't go with her, right? He doesn't go with her. Oh, man, I wanna find the part of that. Hang on. I'm gonna stop sharing because the way she recalls this is crazy. That's part 22. It's part 22. "What's up, Alex? Tara kinda had to sympathize with the woman desperately wanting Chad and Tyrone at any cost." Um That's a clarification video, that's part 9. I think it's like ooh, bro, he lies so much. I'm looking for it. Oh, ooh, hold on, before we get to that, alright, before we get to what she went through with her pregnancy, let's talk about what he did because when she started, like, talking about look, he moved in and they started talking about like, "Hey, let's get a bigger house. We need a bigger house. Let's start shopping. You know what? I wanna buy you a car, okay? I wanna buy you a car." So they start house hunting, they start looking for homes, and they go to dealerships a lot because he wants to buy her a BMW, okay? He wants to buy her a BMW. He wants to shower her with, like, a new house and all this stuff. So they start and this is also again, this is during COVID. This is during quarantine. So a lot of this stuff has to be done, like, online through Zoom calls, things like that. So, um, they start looking at houses, making appointments to go and see these houses. He starts picking out, like, these lavish homes, right, that are, like, 5 bedrooms, he starts picking out these lavish homes, okay? And he wants to make an all cash offer on these houses. And they literally go through with, getting a real estate agent and putting in offers, all cash offers, filling out all the forms. I mean, he takes it to like the very end, okay? To where I want to put in an all cash offer. Well, you have to provide proof of funds for an all cash offer on this home. And he is arguing. He's going back and forth with his real estate agent, like arguing, like, no, I will provide you proof of funds once they accept the all cash offer. And they're like, no, they want proof of funds first before they accept the all cash offer. And they're going back and forth, back and forth. And this happened like twice. This happened twice, going back and forth with his house until finally they're like, you know what? No, we don't want to deal with you. And he's like, well, I don't want to provide you proof of funds. Okay. The level that this guy takes it to is crazy. Same thing with buying her a car. Same thing with buying her a car. They go to all of these dealerships. He has her test drive all these cars, right? She's like, "Oh my gosh, finally a man, he wants to get me a house, he wants to get me a car." They're going back and forth to the dealership trying to find a car for her. And he's having her test drive, like, BMWs and Audis and all of these things, and she knows what she wants, you know and so he's like, "Is it this one? Do you want this one?" And she's like, "Yeah, I want this one." So, again, he's like, "Oh," he takes it to the very end when they're sitting down talking to these people, and, like, she doesn't end up with a car, you know? He's like, "Oh, okay, well, let me do this, right? Let me, uh" get all the information together. I'm gonna put all the information together and then, I'll get you the car. He goes he has right, he says, "Okay, Imma get you an Audi. I'm gonna get you an Audi, alright? Hold on, wait, let me share the screen." He tells her, like, "Alright, cool, I'm gonna get you an Audi, right? I'm gonna get you this car, and it's gonna be delivered to the house." Right? The car is gonna be delivered to the house, and she's like, "Uh" I don't want it to be delivered to the house because she explains, like, where she lives, it's not ghetto, but I mean, she doesn't want a full Audi to be delivered to the car and just be there. She wants to, and it just sit there. She wants to be there when the car is delivered. So, he's like, "Well, can you take off work?" He has her take off work because the car is gonna be delivered between 1 and 3, alright? She takes off work, and here comes 3 o'clock. That car's not delivered. So she keeps calling him and calling him and calling him. And he tells her, "Oh, they're stuck somewhere." She never got the car. She never got a car. Alright, he had this lady take off work and told her, "Hey, the car's gonna be delivered between this time and this time." No car ever showed up, no Audi ever showed up. She never got this car. She never got this car. It is crazy. They never got a house. Um And then he tells her, "Hey, my company wants to actually buy me a BMW." It's like the BMW that she wanted, right? "My company wants to get me a BMW. They're going to pay for this car. We have to go and pick it out. I have up to like a certain amount or whatever to get this car." So they both go to the dealership and they're sitting there. He picks out the car. They're sitting there with the guy across from them, right? And he was like, "Hey, okay, so it's gonna cost this much. Okay, my company's paying for it. I just need to be here to like pick out the car." And then, and I guess this is something that like if you have a company car, maybe it happens often because the person who was selling the car was familiar with like the procedure or something. So her man gets on the phone. He gets on the phone. She didn't. She now realizes that he wasn't talking to anybody on the phone. There was nobody on the other line. But he gets on the phone, calls his company and says like, "Hey, they need this information." Um, and I guess like the guy that handles the company cars and everything, he's not at the office. He's not at the office right now, so they can't provide the salesman with the information that he needs. All right, they can't provide the salesman with the information that he needs. We're gonna have to come back another day. So I guess he tells her that he got the company car, he has it, but he parks it at his work. Okay, he drives his regular car to work every day, and then he uses his company car while he's like at work, right? So he trades vehicles. When he goes to work, he drives to work, trades vehicles, gets in the company car, and then does whatever he needs to do. And he never, ever, ever. She said he never brought that company car home. He always teased it. He's like, "Man, I'm so tired. I think I'm gonna bring the company car home. I think I'm just gonna drive home right now. Like, I don't think I have the energy to drive back to work and then, home to pick up my car and then drive home." Like, she never sees the company car. She never sees it. But he's just like, or she's saying like the level of cruelty that he put me through because he was like, "I want to buy you a house." And I mean, it got to the point where she was like, "Look, I don't want to uh look at houses anymore." Because it gets frustrating, right? It gets frustrating going to these places, getting all excited and then not coming back with what you're getting her excited for. She says that he thinks that he got off on getting her excited for something and like looking at her excitement knowing that eh, there was no like delivery, right? She thinks that he got off on like seeing her get excited knowing that like she's not going to get anything. Right? Because nothing. She's not getting anything from it. Nothing. He would take her to these places and it would drag along so much and so often that she finally told him like, "You need to stop. We're not moving. We're not finding a house. We're just going to live here. I don't want a car. Like just stop taking me to these places, right? Just stop." So he stopped. Um so I told you he told her about his family and she has heard him talk to, people that he works with. She hears him every morning on the phone. He talks to like his brother on the phone every morning. He's talking to somebody on the phone every morning and it's his family member, it's his brother. She talks to his brother on the phone every single morning. She says that like she's heard him talk to like different members of his family. So she had no reason to think that he's lying about his family. None. No reason to think that he's lying about his family. Um, so he moves in and all of this is going on with like the houses and the cars um and then she ends up getting pregnant. All right. She ends up getting pregnant. So she goes to her very first doctor's appointment. They do an ultrasound and then she goes back to work. Now when she goes back to work, she starts like getting pains, like really, really, really bad pains to where she has to go to the doctor. She gets a phone call saying that like, well, the pregnancy actually isn't viable because there's no heartbeat. There's no heartbeat. So she ends up miscarrying, but like with assistance because there's no viable because the pregnancy isn't viable. She has to sort of like with assistance pass, expel the pregnancy. Um, so she has to do that in a doctor's office. I think like she said that they gave her a couple of options on that and um and she chose to like do it in a doctor's office. So they didn't. She gets it done at a doctor's office, and she needs a ride home. Okay, so this man was saying like, okay, I need you to call this number. This number is to my assistant because he's a vice president, right, of the condiment company. This phone number. Hold on, let me see if I can find that part because you have to listen to her tell this story. Let me see if I can find that part. I should have taken timestamps. I should have done. Oh, ooh, hang on a second. I gotta tell you. Hang on a second because I think when does the pregnancy happen? I don't. Oh, here it is. Here it is. She's talking about it. Okay, she's talking about it now. We gotta do this. Hang on. Let me play it at. I'll do a little bit quicker than 1.5 speed. All right, let's do this. Better non retro for 2. Hello, did you see the video I sent? I have not. I have not. I haven't got around to checking my emails or anything like that. My bro has a company car. He can drive it anywhere he wants as long as he keeps receipts on maintenance and he has to keep it clean. Yeah. What's up, Cynthia? All right. Let's listen to her experience.
Excruciating pain I've ever put my body through. I do not recommend any woman, if prayerfully you don't have to go through that, but I don't recommend taking that pill. If you don't have to, don't do it. I spent the whole night in the bathroom just crying in so much pain. They gave me a narcotic. I couldn't take it because I found out I was allergic to it. So it was causing me to like projectile vomiting and it was a mess. So, and he was right there. You know, he was scared that he needed to.
Is this too fast? Can you understand her or do I need to put it on 1.5 speed? Is this too fast? I can understand her, but if y'all can't, then I can put it on 1.5 speed. Let me know. It's fine for Tara. All right. We're going to keep going. Fine for Tazrin. All right, we're going to keep going.
Take me to the ER. But in the morning, the pain kind of subsided. So about 72 hours later, I had another doctor's appointment where the purpose of this appointment was to do an ultrasound to see if everything had passed. Everything did not pass. So because of that, my doctor was like, we're going to have to do a DNC. My DNC was scheduled for the first week of July. My boyfriend, my ex, was going to take me. That was always the plan. 2 days before my procedure, he comes home and tells me that he is up for promotion. He's up to be promoted to VP. Because of this, the president of the company, is coming in, and it was going to be this huge business meeting he had to go to. The business meeting was scheduled for the day of my surgery. And so I'm throwing a fit because I was like, you there's no way you can do that meeting. Like, I need you to take me to the hospital and all this other stuff. And so he offered to have his sister take me to the hospital. Apparently his sister lived in Douglasville. I was like, no, because I've never met her. Like, I'm not having a stranger take me to the hospital. No, this is a private situation. I don't want to do that, blah, blah, blah. So
keep this in mind. He tells her he has a sister, all right? He's offering her sister to pick her up from her surgery. You know what's crazy? What's crazy? All right, here's what's crazy. I'm going to give you a spoiler. That sister did not exist. He doesn't have a sister. So nobody would have showed up to pick her up. Nobody would have shown up to pick this woman up after her surgery. He doesn't have a sister. Who would he tell to go and pick her up? Because he doesn't have a sister. Nobody would have shown up to pick her up.
So my aunt had offered to take me, and then my friend who took me home from work had offered to take me. So at that point, we get into an argument because he's like, my sister is, you about your family, so why can't she step in? And I was like, no, because I don't know her. Period. I don't know her. So my friend offers to take me to the hospital because I was all distressed that he's saying he has a business meeting and he can't take me. So I remember being.
You have to keep in mind that this man, he has no business meeting. There is no promotion happening. So what is he saying? He just doesn't want to pick her up. Like, that's it. He doesn't want to pick her up from this surgery, from this. He doesn't want to pick her up because everything he's telling her, all of these responsibilities that he says that he is going through, that he has, his business meeting, his assistant, the president of the company because he's getting a promotion. There's nothing. This is all lies. He doesn't want to pick her up, so he's making up all of these lies. It's crazy.
Being on I-75 on the connector on the phone with her crying because I was so embarrassed that he wasn't going to be the one to take me, and that I was needing to rely on someone else to take me to the hospital in order to get a D&C done. And she was really great. She was like, girl, this is why you have a village. Like, it's okay. Things happen. The world is crazy right now. I will take you. You're going to be okay. So he did not take me to the hospital for my D&C. My friend did. She could not stay because of COVID protocol. So when they wheeled me into pre-op after I got checked in, I texted him and was just letting him know, hey, here's the update. I'm about to, I'm in pre-op. They're going to get me prepared to go back to the surgical ward or whatever. And the response I got was from his new executive assistant named David. Now, when he told me he was up for the promotion, he did tell me that part of getting this new job would be that he would get an executive assistant named David. And he did tell me, I'm going to make sure that I inform David, if you get a text from this number, meaning from me, pull me out of the meeting because, my fiance's having a procedure done and I'm picking her up. So it's important that you come get me if it's something serious.
There is no David. There is no executive assistant. There is no David. David does not exist. It's probably him. It is probably Legion who is texting her back. There is no David. See, this is all right. Honestly, I feel like this is why people get so invested in this story, because like all of these people that she's talking about, they don't exist. They don't exist. And it's like, holy crap, how on earth can this man keep track of all of these names, all of these people? There is no David. There is no David. I feel like that is why you get so invested, because you're just like, holy wow. You find out that these people don't exist. It's crazy. If I'm in a serious relationship and they were at the hospital, I would be there. It shows you care about the person. Exactly. So that last part right there that you said, Tara, it shows you care about the people you love. That last sentence right there. In part, I think it's like 49 and 50, which we'll get to. She has to come to terms with a lot of things, right? And one thing that she had to come to terms with, aside from, realizing that her whole entire relationship was just built up, was just lie after lie. She didn't even know this man that she married. But was that another part that she had to come to terms with, was like, this dude never loved her. You don't put someone that you love through this. He never loved her. She had to come to terms with that. And it was something hard that she had to realize. So, I mean, it's really sad. It is very sad. It is a sad ending to this crazy story. It is a sad ending to this crazy story. I'm not gonna lie. I might have cried. I might have shed some tears when she was, on parts 49 and 50, because I was just like, wow, what she went through. Oh my gosh. All right, let's keep going.
So I text him. David responds. He said, yeah, Mr. Blah, blah told me that you are having a procedure done. If you need me to get him, I can go get him. He's in a meeting. Just let me know what you need. And I just said, no, don't bother him. I'm just giving an update that they're about to take me back. And David responds and says, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Please let me know if there's anything I can do. So I have the procedure. I wake up and I'm now in recovery. I should be in recovery 45 minutes up to an hour and a half. I wake up. First thing I ask, I remember asking, is where is so-and-so? The nurse who was so sweet, she was like, everything went well. You're doing great. She said, we spoke to your fiance. He's on his way. So I said, okay, okay. I kind of dozed back out, but I could still hear everything that was going on. I just could not keep my eyes open to save my life. So I hear her talk to the other nurse. And that's when she said, yeah, Dr. So-and-so called her fiance and his executive assistant picked up. And the executive assistant said that he was in a business meeting and that, you could relate to him what you need to say and he'll, he'll tell the fiance. And my doctor was like, hell no, HIPAA, I need to speak to him. So apparently my fiance called the doctor back about 30 minutes later. And the doctor informed him she'll be ready to be discharged in about an hour. You can make your way and come pick her up. He said he was on his way. He was on his way from Duluth to Atlanta, which is not a huge distance, but the time of day, one thing about Atlanta, there's always traffic. So he should have been there within the hour. I should have only been in recovery an hour and a half. Let's go to the next part. Part 7, who the fuck did I marry? So I should have been in recovery at Northside Hospital for about at most an hour and a half. Subsequently, I ended up being in recovery between 3 to 3.5 hours. The nurses kept
She had this procedure. He kept her waiting for 3.5 hours. I'm on my way. 3.5 hours. I'm on my way. Don't worry. I'm on my way. 3.5 hours this woman waited after having this procedure. And it's a delicate thing, right? For a woman to go through. You thought you were pregnant, you're planning on it, but unfortunately there's no heartbeat. It's soul crushing when something like that happens and you have to expel the pregnancy that you were like, "Oh my gosh, you don't know what she was going through." Maybe she was happy that she was having this baby, right? She finally found her person. They're starting a family. That's what she was looking for. That's what she was looking for. She's ready to start a family. She's ready to have a baby. She's ready to settle down. And then she's going through this. It already takes an emotional toll. And then the man that you are with, who is supposed to pick you up from this horrible procedure that you have to go through, makes you wait 3.5 hours. I honestly can't remember what happened because I was actually like out running errands when I was listening to this part. So we're gonna listen to this part together. I can't recall. I can't remember what happens after this.
Kept calling my ex, asking what's the status, because they were actually getting ready to do a shift change. So they kept calling, asking what's the status, like, where are you? I want to say that they called a total of 3 times and they spoke to him twice. So at this point, I knew that they were all like, where's her fiance? Like, what is going on? He said he was stuck in traffic. And so he was making his way there. He eventually did get to Northside Hospital, and they wheeled me down because, again, he couldn't come in just because of the protocols. So when I got in the car and I'm in pain, but yet drugged up, couldn't keep my eyes open, I was just out of it. But I remember him calling my aunt and my mother and letting them know I picked her up. We're on the way home. Let me get her settled, and then I'll give you guys an update. I remember that. What I did not know was that he had texted my aunt and my mom and asked them to not bother me for like a week. Like, just please don't reach out to her. Let her just rest. I am from New Jersey. I am from an African-American family. You don't tell my Black mama or my Black aunt that, please don't bother her for a week. I didn't know this at the time, but I'm just interjecting that part. I'm trying to stay in the timeline, but he did apparently do that. And my aunt was like, "Why will fuck you up?" Anyway.
That's interesting that he did that. What's up, Jay and the Elite Fan? That's interesting that he did that because a lot of times these like manipulators will want to get between you and your family in order to isolate you, right? In order to isolate you. And so they don't want you, they want you all to themselves, right? And so they'll try and isolate you and keep you from your family. And it's interesting that he tried to do that during a vulnerable time for her, which was after surgery, a time that she wouldn't know, right? She didn't know that he did that. But she wouldn't be aware. If anything, she would probably think like, why isn't my family checking up on me? This is really weird. I would think that they would want to check up on me because I've been through this, and it might take a hit. Her self-esteem might take a hit from that. And I think that something like that, when something like that happens, right? She ends up leaning on him even more. So, yeah, that's crazy. She's still with no. Yeah, her family should be the first to know. Her family should be the first to know. But no. She's trying to isolate her from her family. That's crazy. Crazy. Insane. You don't do that. Man, if I went through this, I would be like, I would call, like, where are you at? Where are you? Why aren't you here? I just went through this procedure. And if I had found out that, like, oh no, he told us to leave you alone, I've been like, you come over here now. There would have been some words.
So go home. He waits on me hand and foot. I recover. Just needed about 24.
See, he waited on her hand and foot while telling her family, you need to stay away. See, why? Because he wants to isolate her, and he wants her to lean on him while thinking my family doesn't care. That is so manipulative right there. That is so manipulative right there. Oh my gosh.
48 hours to just get my mind right. During this time, in between when the house in Douglasville fell through, we had not talked about a house. So I guess it was about a week later after the DNC, he decides that, do you want to start looking for a house? Excuse me, I have hiccups, y'all. Do you want to start looking for a house again? Because of what happened with the house in Douglasville, I felt like I was smarter this time to say, I want to be involved in every aspect, because I don't know what the fuck happened with that house in Douglasville. But what I do know is that he lied to me. I didn't know then what I know now. I just knew he lied about I knew he lied about being under contract. So I told him, I said, I don't want to work with your friend who I've never met, never talked to. I know that he has talked to him because he's talked to him in front of me. And I'm going to demonstrate on one of the videos how he used to do his phone calls. Don't worry, it's coming. So we found a new real estate agent. Really nice guy. His name was Scott. I am using his real name. Really nice guy. And we told him what the budget was. And Scott was like, okay, when you guys are ready, we can start looking at houses. Try to look for houses that are empty because you can actually tour those. If it's a house where someone's already living in there, chances are it's going to be a virtual tour because of COVID. So I found a house that I absolutely, in total, we must have looked at about 15 houses. But I found a house in Smyrna that I absolutely loved. We toured the house. Everything about this house was perfect. The house was...
What's up, Bong Donkey? How you doing?
Listed for $699,000. It was a brand new construction build. The only issue was that the basement was not finished. He wanted the basement to be his man cave. Again, I went with him to tour this house. So this was already feeling very different than the situation in Douglasville.
Okay. Long story short, they did not get this house. They didn't get this house. He wanted the basement finished. He wouldn't budge on the basement. And the people that were selling the house did not want to finish the basement. So they did not get this house because of that. They did not get this house. He wouldn't budge on that basement. The basement was a deal breaker. He would not budge. They didn't get this house. Let me see if I can move.
We did not actually tour. He told me he had money in his savings from putting in an all cash offer. If you remember on the videos before, he told me he had money in his savings from when he played football. So when he said an all cash offer, even I knew, you got that kind of money, like where you can cut a cashier's check for $699,000. And he told me he did. He had money in savings from when he played football, and he was very comfortable paying all cash for this home.
This man has 4 bank accounts. 4. He tells her he has 4 bank accounts. 2 that he shows proof of, and 2 that he does not show her proof of. Now, the 2 that he showed her proof of, that is something else. That is something else that happens in this fucking series, okay? But he has like an offshore account and like a United account, some other 2 accounts that he does not show her proof of. And the reason he doesn't show her proof of is because his grandfather or something like that says, don't ever tell like you're a woman how much money you actually have, right? Like that's why he won't show her those accounts. When in reality, they didn't exist, all right? Like, that was just a whole story. They didn't exist.
So the real estate agent, Scott, sent over the paperwork. The paperwork was sent in both of our names. It was sent to my email. That was another thing that I changed after Douglasville. Everything gets sent to me, and then I will be sure that he signs it. So he sent it to me. I looked over the offer. We were going to put in an all cash, full price offer with a request to have the basement finished. Also, we were requesting for the seller to give us an answer within 24 hours. We were requesting a quick closing. These are just some of the things I remember. I remember 24 hours. Like, I didn't want to wait on, y'all think about it. 24 hours, let us know if you're accepting the offer or not. and then also a quick closing because it was a new construction. So we didn't have to wait for the current tenant to move out. We didn't have to do that. So I watched in our bedroom as he pulled it up, because it was a electronic document. He signed his name to the offer for $699,000 cash. He requested again, the seller let us know in 24 hours if they were accepting the offer. So we submitted the offer at around 6 p.m. We were requesting that by 6 p.m. the next day, they let us know if the offer was accepted.
He went all the way in, man. I'm telling you, this dude will go all the way. He will go all the way. He's like, yeah, $699. I got that money. I'm going to sign the paperwork and send it through, knowing that it's all a sham. It is a lie. This man doesn't have $100 to his name. Oh my God. The level of like deceit and what he put her, it's incredible. It's mind blowing that there are people out there like this. It is crazy.
Or not. I watched him sign the offer. I sent the offer back to Scott from my email. All parties had signed. Scott texted us and said, I got it. I'm submitting it. I will let you know what they say. Let's go into part 7. Sorry. Let's go into part 8. Good grief, this is getting long. Okay, so I just want to clear up some things that I realize is kind of creating some confusion. So just allow this video to serve. He had a brother in Nashville. So I just want to clarify that in terms of not the demographics, but the geography. Born in Philly, came to Augusta for high school, went to San Diego State for college, played football, stayed in San Diego, got married out there, but still had quite a bit of family here in here in Georgia. He also had a sister, I think I said, who lived in Douglasville. I have physically met his aunt who lived in Augusta. I've met his brother who lives in Augusta. I have spoken on FaceTime with a brother who lives in Baltimore. And then I will demonstrate how he used to talk to the brother that lives in Philly. That's coming up. You haven't missed that. In terms of the proposal, you did not miss the story of the proposal. I simply didn't want to share it because it was embarrassing. Basically, he gave me 3 ring options. We went to a jeweler at the Mall of Georgia. He had me pick out 3 rings. I told him which one I liked the most because I knew it wasn't a romantic proposal at all. I knew which ring I liked the most. I told him which one. He basically said, when I'm ready, I'll give you the ring and I'll propose. Fast forward about, I guess it was summer, because I was actually pregnant when the ring came. We were sitting at the dinner table. He took the ring box out of his pocket, slammed it on the dinner table. And I was like, what is this? He was like, open it. I opened it. Inside was the ring that I had wanted, that I had chosen at the jeweler. And he was like, all right, so this means that you're going to be my wife. I was pregnant. So again, when I asked y'all to give me grace, it's because there's certain things that's just like, girl, what was you thinking? Trust me. There's no.
That's how he proposed to her. He just slams it on the table and said, there you go. Now you're going to be my wife. And again, in her vulnerable state, right? She's pregnant at this point. So she's thinking, and she's incredibly religious. Like, she talks about God a lot throughout this series, right? So she's just like, well, I want to be married. Like, this is the man who got me pregnant, right? This is the man who I'm having a baby with. So, I guess this is my proposal too. At the very least, he got me the ring I wanted, right? Holy crap.
Excuse. So there was never a, will you marry me? It was more of a, we're living together, we're having a baby together, we need to get married, because the backstory also was that his dad was a retired police officer, but at one point his father was a pastor. So he could quote the Bible like nobody's business, as we all know, so can Lucifer. But anyway, he could.
Ooh. Spoiler alert, this man's father was never a pastor. Spoiler alert. His father was never a pastor. In fact, like later on in this series, she talks to his brother, who says that his mom was actually the one who went to church. His dad would not go near a church. His father was not a pastor.
They quote the Bible like no one's business. And so that's how we ended up engaged. And I was wearing a ring. I will find a picture and I will try to post it. But I was wearing a ring. Don't worry, there's more to that story as well. So just want to clarify some things for the people who were like, wasn't it weird that he had a sister who lived close, but he's from Philly? So I just wanted to definitely bring clarity to what he told me was the backstory. Born in Philly,
came to Augusta for high school, went to California for college, played football at San Diego State, played football and arena football, worked at Apple, and then joined a condiment company.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back a little bit. I'm going to say lie after each thing that she says. That's a lie.
College, played football at San Diego State.
Wait, hold
Billy. Came to Augusta for high school, went to California for college, played football at San Diego State, played football and arena football, worked at Apple, and then joined a condiment company in California, who then transferred him back to Georgia. He was married in California, and he told me he got divorced in California.
Lie.
That is important as well. That will come up again later. And so the ex-wife, at this point in time, at the time that I'm telling you, part 7, which is the last video I just posted, the ex-wife lived in California with her 2 kids, his 2 stepkids. The 2 stepkids were 17 and 20 or 21, but they were that age group. And he was saying that he was very close with them, so he wanted to keep a tight relationship with them. And he talked to them, if not every day, every other day. When I say, when I say this, I need y'all to understand. When I say that he talked to someone, it means that he was on the phone in front of me talking to the person. I hope that because I will touch back on this. He was on the phone in front of me talking to the person. So he talked to his siblings every day. He talked to his aunt almost every day. He talked to his family the way I talk to my family almost every day. And again, I will demonstrate how he used to do the phone calls. I will also demonstrate how he used to do the work phone calls, because he called me every single day from work. And he would talk to people while he was on the phone with me. And I could hear people in the background. But that's a whole nother part. So again, buckle your seats. I promise I'm reading your comments, I'm reading your questions, but I wanted to bring this video just to clarify some stuff. Hopefully this helps. And she's saying to herself, okay, it's time for me to ask some questions. That's my hope. All right, part 8 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So we submitted an offer on the house in Smyrna. I sent it over to Scott, our realtor. And
what's up, Maxfield? It's giving delusional. Oh, this story is crazy. This story is insane. Like, are you guys hooked yet? Are you guys hooked yet? Because I was hooked. I was like just listening to her story. I was so freaking hooked on this story. I could not stop listening to it. Gravy D says I'm taking notes. I think it's quite sports entertained right now, not gonna lie. I think on one of her videos, I can't remember which one. I think it might be the 50. It might be on part 50. Someone wrote in the comments like TikTok's first full-length movie or something like that. Like, because seriously, you get invested, you do not want to stop listening. It's crazy.
And next day comes, Scott asks if we can take a phone call. So he calls us and tells us that the offer was not accepted and the builder did not do a counteroffer. We don't exactly know why. We don't exactly know why he didn't accept it, but the bottom line is that we figured out later on that he didn't want to finish the basement. So the offer was not accepted. The house fell through. I was okay with that because, again, I knew he had put in an offer. So we continued looking at other houses. We found...
See, I think that's why she believed him, right? That's why she believed that he had this type of money, because he goes through with things. Like, he takes things so far. I mean, he put in an all cash offer, signed all of the paperwork, sent it to the real estate agent, with the full knowledge that when it came down to it, he doesn't have $700,000 to give for this house. Right? He doesn't have that kind of money, but he goes through with all of this stuff. So in her mind, she's probably thinking like, well, why would somebody do that if they didn't have the money? He probably does have the money. Otherwise, why on earth would you put in an all cash offer? You know? And that's just something that you can't, like what type of person does that? Who does that? Why would you put in an all cash offer without like having the money? Where do you think the money's going? Like, in her mind, like, why would someone do that? That's just like, that's on to us, it's delusional, right? To us, it's crazy. But to her, she's already bonded with this man emotionally. She's bonded with this man physically. They're engaged. She's gone through, some really difficult stuff with this man. So she's already bonded with this man. So she's thinking like, he wouldn't do that, right? He wouldn't do that. Why would he do that? That's crazy. It's crazy to us when we're listening to it, but for her, it's not crazy for someone or for him to like do that. Like for her, she's just like, I certainly wouldn't put in an all cash offer for $700,000 if I didn't have the money. So why would he?
Another house in Smyrna that he really liked. I thought that it was way too big for just the two of us. And so the price of this home was much higher than the $750,000 that Chase had approved for the mortgage. So what he explained to me was that he was willing to do the $750,000 mortgage, and he was also willing to put a significant amount of the money in savings on the house, which meant that he was now comfortable going from $750,000 up to about $900,000. Again, his whole explanation was, I have the money where I can put down a substantial down payment, bring down the price of the home, and then basically mortgage the rest of it.
This man has no money. This man has no money. Why? This is insane. Oh, I could do up to 900. This man has from playing arena football. He was never an arena football player. He has no money.
So that was not the point. I was not comfortable with a home over $900,000. But again, keep in mind, I saw the Chase paperwork. So I was like, I just feel more comfortable sticking at the $750,000 mark. That's what you were approved for. Let's go with that. By this point, this is now fall of 2020. We had been talking about marriage. I had my ring. He had made VP at the company. And again, he was calling me every day from work. I need to kind of explain how the company was ran, because when you think VP, you would think he would be in an office. It was a condiment company. So they actually were producing the condiments. And I'm not saying the name of the company on purpose, but they were producing the condiments in this particular plant location. So a lot of times he would simply tell me that he walked the floor, checking in with his subordinates, basically. Now, how did he go to work? For the most part, at this point, he left before I woke up. However, pretty much he wore dress pants, kind of like a dark navy blue cargo pant. And he had a polo shirt with the company logo on it. What I saw a lot of times is that he would not wear the polo shirt to work. He would wear like a company t-shirt. He would wear rubber sole shoes and the navy blue cargo pants. I didn't think it was.
He's a VP of a company, right? VP of this company wearing cargo pants and a t-shirt to work. When I heard this part, okay. And non-slip shoes or whatever she says. When I heard this part, I was like, ain't no way this man, like that uniform sounds like a line cook, right? It sounds like he works at a restaurant. It sounds like he works at it sounds like a line cook, but he's not a line cook, okay? But that's where I thought that this was going. Like I thought he worked at a restaurant, like he was a cook at a restaurant or something. That's not his job. That's not what he does in reality. But listen to what he wears.
It's a uniform, but it reminded me of what someone would wear when I worked at Amazon, if you're going to be doing manual labor. He didn't go to work sloppy looking at all, but it definitely was not suit and tie. Nowhere near suit and tie. It is fair to note that outside of work, he was a man who he loved to dress. He loved to wear the latest Jordans. He loved to collect watches. He collected a lot of Invicta watches. He loved to collect hats. He wore hats, baseball caps everywhere because he didn't like the shape of his head. So in terms of how he dressed casually, the man, he could dress. In terms of how he dressed,
he dresses better casually than he does for work, where he is the vice president of the condiment company. And he dresses better outside of work than he does for work. No. I dress like that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
For work, yeah, he didn't dress like a VP. But his excuse was, I'm constantly walking the production floor, and I can't be in a suit and tie walking the production floor where they're creating the condiments that we're selling. So
you're just walking the floor. I mean, there are architects, there are, multiple people like on construction sites who are dressing better than this man while wearing a hard hat and walking the floor and walking the site, the construction site, right? He can certainly wear a suit and tie and walk that floor, but he doesn't because he is not vice president of this condiment company. Oh, I can't walk the floor in a suit. I have to wear these special clothes. No, sir.
Well, by this point, again, this is fall. We're still looking at houses. We're still touring houses as much as we can because it is COVID. We had found another house that we really liked and a house that I really, truly wanted to put an offer in on. This was now going to be the second house that we put an offer on. He put in the asking price, I believe, was about $700,000. He put in under asking an offer for about $650,000. I'm guessing, but I'll try to find the house and put it on the story. The reason that house fell through, we found out that the home was sitting on a septic tank. We found out that the septic tank had an issue, and it would have taken about $15,000 to $20,000 to fix the septic tank. The sellers were not willing to fix the septic tank. Personally, I didn't really care for the house that much. I'm the one who was like, I don't really want it. So even though we put an offer in, we had 24 hours where we could pull our offer back. And so we did. Once we found out, I believe it was in the disclosure. And if you're a realtor, please feel free to tell me if I'm using the wrong terminology. But
this man, this man lucked out. He lucked out with the septic tank issue. Because had they gone through with the house, they wouldn't have gotten the house because he is a liar and he does not have the money. He lucked out. I bet he was thanking his lucky stars. He was thanking the universe. Like, thank you so much for this issue because we wouldn't have gotten the house. I ain't got no money. I'm broke. I don't have any money. that was like, oh, okay. That was like a blessing in disguise for this man because he doesn't have any money.
But I believe it was in the disclosure that they told us the septic tank needs to be replaced. That's when I was like, nah, I don't want that house. So we pulled out. The house fell through. And so I was fine with it because, again, I was heavily involved. I saw him sign the offer. I knew every step of what was going on. Our real estate agent, Scott, was amazing. But you will see when I get to it where he made a mistake as a real estate agent. So house number 2 fell through. We then moved on, saw a few more houses, and then we get to house number 3. I'm going to pause talking about the houses because now I need to introduce what happened with the cars.
Oh, okay. I told you all about the cars. I told you guys about the cars. We don't have to watch that. I'm gonna find a part. I don't like this shit. Oh my gosh. All right. I told you guys what happened to the cars. Okay. He kept taking her to find cars. I'm gonna buy you this car and buy you that car, to the point where she didn't want to look for any more cars because it's not working. Let me see how.
And such BMW sedan. I was there when he test drove the car. I got in the car with him. I loved it. And he explained to the salesperson, I'm getting a company car. I need to get a printout.
Okay, here's the company car story. All right, here's the company car story. This is great.
Of the full price of the car, tax, tag, and title. Because what my company is going to do is wire over the money for the car. The salesperson was like, okay, apparently that happens a lot. So he gave them a printout with the tax, tag, and title for the car. In front of me and the salesperson, he called the person in the finance department for his job. Obviously, I have no idea what this person's name is, but he called the person. He explained to them, this is the amount of money. He said the president of the company, so-and-so, has authorized for him to get a car, not spending more than, I think, $90,000 tax, tag, and title. The BMW came out to just under $90,000. And so I remember this conversation so fucking vividly. So he's on the phone in front. I'm sitting down, the salesperson sitting down at their desk, and he's like, they put me on hold. And so he's like, I guess the person comes back and he says, the price of the car is blah, blah, blah. He was like, give me a second and I can send you a picture of that printout that shows tax, tag, and title for the BMW. He gets off the phone. He takes a picture of it. He sends it to whoever. He waits.
I love how she said he sends it to whoever, because he is getting on the phone. He is getting on the phone and he ain't talking to nobody. This man is not talking to, and he is talking to himself. There's nobody on the other line of the phone. He's talking to himself on the phone, okay? Because this person of the finance company at his work does not exist. He does not exist. He is talking to nobody. He's talking to himself. He is sending this paperwork and this picture that he's taking to himself. He's sending it to nobody. They don't exist. He's literally there next to his fiance, next to this lady, all right? Next to this woman, and across from the dude at the car company, and he's on the phone talking to nobody. I cannot with this story. It is crazy. It is insane to me, the level of like just deceit that this guy takes these like things to, takes these lies. It's crazy. Oh my God. JM the Elite Band, take care.
It's about 10 minutes. He calls the person back. He says, did you get it? Apparently the person did get it, but the person who can actually physically do the wire transfer had gone home for the day.
Oh, that's convenient. They can't do the wire transfer for the money because the person that does the wire transfer, he's just gone. He's not there. He's gone for the day. He can't do it.
what he says to the BMW salesperson, he's like, okay, we're going to have to do this tomorrow because so-and-so went home for the day. I don't know who the salesperson is. I can only tell you from my viewpoint what I thought. I had no reason to think this was a lie. I really didn't. Because again, you got to please keep in mind the circumstances that all of this is happening. We're inside the dealership. We're sitting at the desk of this person. He gave us the printout. He's on the phone, doing business, basically saying, look, this is how much money the car is going to cost. He's taking a picture of it. He seemingly is texting someone saying, this is how much, this is proof of how much it is. Then he asked the BMW salesperson, I need your wire transfer information. The guy got up, rushed over to, I guess, their finance area to get the bank wire information, because obviously you have to wire it a certain kind of way. Rushes back over, gives it to my ex-husband. My ex-husband's like, okay, first thing in the morning, we will get this wired over, and then, I'll come and pick up the car. My fiance, will drive me up here to pick up the car. So we leave.
This is why she's like, this can't be a lie. He's going through all of this. He is obvious. He's talking to someone on the other line. He's talking to somebody. That's what they think. They think he's talking to someone on the other line, right? He's going through all of these steps. And if he's going through all of these steps to get this car, why would he lie? Why would it be like this grandiose lie like that? Like, who does that? Who does that? That is why she is believing everything that is happening. I mean, shit, even the salesperson across from him is thinking like, oh yeah, this is going to be a sale for me. This is my commission. Heck yeah, this is an easy commission for me because I don't have to sell this car. The company is going to pay for this car. This is an easy sale for me, right? That they have no reason to believe that he's lying. None whatsoever. What's up, Disper?
He felt like, because at the time that this all happened, I was pregnant. So he felt like, look, we're about to have a baby. I don't want you driving that Nissan Rogue. I want to get you something. I want to get you something more secure, something new. I really wanted a Kia. I really wanted a Kia Telluride. And he was like, well, let's look at the warranty. This man knew a lot about cars. He knew a lot about the warranty. He knew a lot about the depreciation value. And so he did talk to me a lot about what will we get the most for our money. We test drove, when I say we, I test drove a Kia Telluride, a Kia Sorento. He didn't like either of those. He had me test drive a Ford Explorer. He didn't really care for that. Then came time where he really wanted me to get a BMW. He really wanted me to get a BMW X5. So he took me to local BMW Imports, which, if you know anything about Atlanta, it's off of Cobb Parkway, but you can see it off the highway. I believe 285 is where you can see the Global Imports BMW dealership. He took me there. He had me test drive an X5, an X6. He also had me test drive I think I'm gonna get the numbers wrong, a 525, which was a sedan. I did not like that. I wanted an SUV. I loved driving the BMW. He also had me drive an M-Series, test drive an M-Series. So he was very adamant that I should get a BMW.
Why? I don't know. Understand why. Like, BMW, girl, come on, get your BMW. All right. She's like, I want an affordable car. I want a Kia. Like, that's an affordable. It's a safe car. I want a Kia. Like, but no, he's like BMW.
The reason being is because, according to him, he had a BMW in California when he lived in San Diego.
Oh, that's a lie. That's a lie. Because he never lived in California. If he never lived in California, he never had a BMW in California. That's a lie. Oh my God.
He had a BMW that he loved. It was a white BMW. He showed me pictures of the BMW. So he showed me pictures of this white BMW that he had. And unfortunately, the car got totaled about 2 months before he moved to Georgia.
Oh, how convenient. I used to have a BMW. I love that BMW. Oh, here's some pictures, right? Here's some pictures of my amazing car. Probably without him in him, right? It's just a picture of the car, but not a selfie, right? Of him in the car that he is so proud of. But it got totaled. Lie. That was all a lie.
So he had received money, not a lot, but some money to get another car, and he used it to get the Ford Taurus because he was like, I just need a car that's going to get me from.
He went from a BMW to a Ford Taurus.
A to B until I get to a house and I'm much more settled. For him, he was like, I'm really giving myself 60 days to get settled here in Georgia after moving from California. But then he met me.
That was a lie.
Again, that's the story. So he had me test drive the BMW. So much so, I loved the BMW. Loved it. I wanted a dark blue BMW with cognac interior.
Girl, she knows what she wants. She knows cognac interior. That's what I want in my BMW. She knows exactly what she wants. Hold on, we got to get to the delivery of the BMW.
I cannot tell you why he switched up. I can't. But I can tell you he took me to an Audi dealership on Peachtree Industrial.
All right. This is a story about the Audi delivery.
Audi and
let's go back.
They're not showing any symptoms. Maybe we can do family dinner. And so he had met my family in person. And now we will go ahead and move towards part 10 of this series. Okay, part 10. Who the fuck did I marry? Okay, had to sneeze. All right, so at this point, I had test driven all these cars. Kia's grandfather, he was getting me a car.
he had told my aunt he was getting me a car, that he was going to, he was like, she's gonna be my wife. I want her to be in something secure. So my family was really like, wow, wow, who knew that he had this kind of money? And so I hate.
He doesn't have this kind of money. He doesn't. He just likes bragging. He'll brag. And it was so funny because there's a part in this series where he finally meets her mom, right? Because you have to remember, everything with like, this is happening during lockdowns, right? All of this is happening during lockdowns. You have to make appointments for stuff. If you want to view a house, it can't be a house that anybody lives in. All of this is happening during lockdowns, which is why she's like kind of like met his family over the phone, met some people in person. He doesn't meet her mom until like later. But that is something that she will warn her family about. Hey, he likes to brag. He's going to brag about houses, he's going to brag about cars. He's going to brag about him playing arena football. Like, he likes to brag. So what does he do when he meets his family? I'm going to brag. Hey, I want to buy your house. I'm going to buy her a car. Like, that's what he likes to do. You would think so, right?
Hated the fact that he did that, because anytime he got around my family, here's another red flag to put in the United Nations of red flags. He would always talk about money, and he would always brag. I never realized it in real time. I didn't realize it until I was out of the situation. He always bragged about the fact that he could fight, the fact that he had money, and the fact that he played football. Those are the three things he always bragged about.
There you go.
Back to cars. So I told him, I was like, pick one between the BMW and the Audi, because you said you're buying it. So pick one. So this man chose the Audi. So he takes me to the dealership. I wanted a white Q8. He does give me the printout of how much it's going to cost, tax, tag, and title, to get this Q8. Gentleman who's helping us gives him the printout. He's saying he's going to pay this money for the car out of the savings account that's offshore. That's the story.
Offshore. His savings account offshore. She never saw this savings account. This offshore savings account. This offshore savings account is where he has all of his money that he made playing arena football. That's the story of the offshore account. That's a lie. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. He has no money. No offshore account, no money.
That's what he's saying. So he apparently is asking the guy, is there a holding fee? Can I pay a holding fee to secure this car while I'm working to get the money transferred? Because obviously with COVID, it's going to take long for the banks to transfer the money. Side note, I need everyone to understand, one of the reasons why he was able to get away with the stuff he got away with is because we were on lockdown. It's crazy because it's now 2024, but I don't know, do we all remember how it seemed like a lot of stuff stopped in 2020 now? Keep in mind, that's not an excuse I'm making, because shit still got done. But in terms of business as usual just was not happening in 2020 at this time. So when he's saying, oh, it's going to take a while for the bank to transfer the money, the gentleman who was working at Audi he didn't make a face. He didn't blink. He was like, I know it's going to take a while because of COVID. So basically what
he used lockdowns. He used COVID to his advantage. Seriously, he used it to his advantage to let his lies last a lot longer, right? To make it seem like, oh, this is totally normal, right? Because if it was business as usual, I guarantee you they would be like, well, why? Why would it take so long? Why don't you have this? But because it's not business as usual, he's using COVID to his advantage. Like, he has, from the very beginning of their relationship, used COVID to his advantage. It's crazy. It is insane. Oh my God, Disparu. Bro. Teresa. Hi, Teresa. Crash Mondo for 5. Steph, did you ever see or hear the story of the Tinder swindler that became a documentary on that? I did not. What is it called? I want to watch it. Is it called Tinder Swindler? I want to watch it. I did not know about that. Dude, this needs to become, this right here, this story, this needs to become something. All right. It needs to become something because this is crazy. Damn.
What's happening is we leave. He has the printout. He calls the bank, or he calls his financial advisor, who does have a name. The financial advisor's name is Eric. I feel comfortable using certain people's names, especially if we find out they didn't exist.
She can use their names because they don't exist. He doesn't have a financial manager or whatever named Eric. They don't exist. So she could say the name Eric. People's names if she says people's names and, like, she say like, I can, that is his real name, then that's a real person. If she says like other names of people, their names made up in this man's head, they do not exist. Oh my God.
So he calls Eric. He tells Eric in front of me, hey, I need to transfer $72,526, whatever the amount was, because I'm buying a car for my fiance. This is the bank account information. Do you need me to give it to you over the phone, or do you need me to email it to you? Pause. I can't hear what the person's saying, but that's what he would do. Do you mean?
I can't hear what the person, because again, there's nobody on the other line. He's not talking to anybody. He's talking to Eric. He's talking to Eric, his financial advisor. No, he's not, because there's nobody on the other line. She's like, I can't hear anybody because there's nobody. He is talking to himself.
I need to give it to you over the phone, or can I email it to you? Okay. Okay. All right. Give me a few minutes and I'll go ahead and email it to you. All right. Let me know. I'll call you back to find out if you received it. Okay. Hang up. So I'm hearing this because, again, I'm not paying attention to, did I hear anybody on the other phone? Did I hear anybody on the other end? So he proceeds to type up an email, type up something, telling him this is the information that we need.
I like how she says he type up something, because he's not talking to anybody. Like when she's recalling this stuff, there's like little tiny things that she says that makes it so funny, because he's like, he proceeds to type an email, type up something, because he's not sending anything to anybody. It is all just an elaborate lie. It's like an elaborate manipulation, just an elaborate something, right? Because he's not talking to anybody. He's not sending anybody anything. He's not nothing. All of it is a lie. It is all a ruse.
I didn't think anything of it. He called me at work the next day to tell me that the money was sent to Audi, that he called Audi and he confirmed with Audi that they received the money. What he told me is that the car is going to be delivered to the house. Y'all, it's not that I lived in a hood, because I didn't, but I did not live in an area of Clayton County where you would have a brand new Audi delivered to your house. So I remember saying to him, I don't want that car delivered to the house, not yet, because I need to put that car in the garage. And my Nissan I only had a 1-car garage, so my Nissan was in the garage. So he said, okay, well, let me call them back and change the delivery date. Can you be home, or can you do a half day? So he's asking me, can you work a half day so that they can deliver the car and you will be home for it? I said, yes, that's fine. Because again, it's COVID. I'm working from home anyway. I only had to go in the office 2 days a week. So I'm at home the next day. He told me the car would be delivered between the hours of 1 and 3.
This woman took a half day. She took time off of work to wait for a car. All right, this is what I'm talking to you about. Remember, I was telling you about the car that never got delivered. This is the story of the car that never got delivered.
Obviously, between 1 and 3, nothing happened. So 3 o'clock, I called him. He's at work. He sends me a voicemail. He calls me back. I said, it's 3 o'clock. No one ever came with the car. What's going on? And then I remember I was like, well, do I need to call Audi myself? Because I thought that you handled it. But if you didn't handle it, do I need to call them? And so whenever I would suggest I will handle it, he would get very, very defensive. Red flag number 472.
Yes. I'm going to handle it myself. I'm going to do it. If he was ever almost caught in a lie, he'll get very defensive. No. He gets defensive. Oh my God. That happens a lot too. That happens a lot. She said, I think later on when, before she asks him for, because remember, this is her ex-husband. Okay. This is her ex-husband. All right. When she finally asked this man for a divorce, he immediately she's like, we need to talk. And he immediately gets defensive. He's already on the defensive, because he needs to, I don't know, come up with whatever reply that he's going to come up with. But he always gets defensive. That's a commonality of her stories. Whenever she confronts him about a lot of things, he immediately will get defensive.
So he was like, no, I will call Audi. Don't do anything. I'll call Audi and find out what's going on. Okay. So I'm at home chilling, cooking dinner, normal night. He calls me back and says, yeah, the car was stuck on the truck in Spartanburg, because apparently that's where their deliveries come from. So when he told me this, I was in the kitchen laughing, because by this point, I will be honest, and I told you I'll be honest even when it makes me look bad. I was guilty of, on one hand, I believed him, and on the other hand, I was like, let me see what lie he come up with. Let me just see. But
she knows. It's what is hilarious is that in the back of her mind, she's just like, it's not coming. She's gotten to this point so used to this man not following through with any of his promises that she just laughs about it now. But what's funny is that he's getting away with this so much, right? Which is why he does it over and over and over. She's allowing him to get away with it so much, to the point where she's laughing about it. She's like, well, let's see what his lie is now. What's his excuse now? Why isn't it delivered? And that just gives him the go ahead to continue to do it, do it over and over and over, because whatever I tell her, whatever she puts up with, nothing. She'll just put up with it. So I can just do it over and over and over. What's up, Biggles?
Keep in mind, my brain was really like not rationalizing, not comprehending how deep the lie was. I just thought that no one told him the car was going to be delivered, and he made that up. I had no idea how deep the lie went. So he said, the car's in Spartanburg. It should be delivered this weekend. The weekend came, he had a whole other excuse. I don't remember what the exact excuse was as to why the car was never delivered. I do remember we got into an argument, and I was like, don't even worry about it. I'm gonna get a new car my damn self. I don't even need your help. Which is probably one of the worst things you can tell a narcissist, because they love to be the hero. It's all about them. But I was like, don't even worry about it. I'll get, when I have the money to get a car myself, I'll do it. I don't want.
So that is 100% true. Yes, they love to be the heroes in their own story. But she calls him like a pathological liar. She calls him a narcissist throughout the whole retelling of the story. What's interesting is that he ends up not being those things. Well, he's a pathological liar, but she actually did an update yesterday because this man was actually diagnosed with some mental disorders when he was a child that he stopped taking medication for, that he told nobody about. So he actually does have some mental issues, which makes sense because he's on the phone talking to nobody. Okay.
I don't want to hear anything else about a new car. I don't want to hear shit else about a car. Because at this point, I was spending way too much time trying to figure out, are we getting a car? Are we getting a house? Like, what the fuck is going on? Always there was an excuse. So when I told him I don't want to hear anything else about a car, and I am not going to a dealership to test drive another car, that ended that whole discussion right there. So this is where I'm going to interject what I believe was happening. I believe that my ex-husband is the type of person, he gets off, he gets off on you being excited about something that he knows you will never get. So I believe that he enjoyed going to car dealerships. He enjoyed watching me test drive a car and get excited about it, knowing I was not going to get it. It is the level of cruelty. And again, I'm telling y'all stuff that I found out way later on. It is the level of cruelty that I still cannot comprehend. So
now I'm not giving him a pass or anything like that. I'm not, definitely not. But it is incredibly cruel to do all of those things. I don't know how mentally stable this man is. Obviously he is not mentally stable. But he needs to be on medicine. Like, he needs to be on medication. All right? It's likely not that he gets off on lying. It's that he wished he could provide that and enjoyed the idea that he could provide that. He just couldn't follow through on actually doing it. Yeah, right. Like, there's no follow through. I think with because she calls him a narcissist, and I think to a level he does have a lot of narcissistic tendencies, and narcissists tend to do that. Like, they will promise you with no intention of follow through. Like, they just have it's a bunch of empty promises. But they have no intention of following through with it. But he actually does. I don't know if he is a narcissist, but his brother actually called her, his real brother, the one that existed, called her and let her know, hey, you need to clear some stuff up. And he gives her a little bit of backstory on this man when he was a child. All right. Because a lot of the story, a lot of the family and everything that he tells her that he has, they're all made up people, or some of them are made up and some of them aren't. His sister, some of they aren't, they just aren't, right? But yeah, he has he is a master manipulator. All right. What's another crazy part? Hold on. What is another crazy part? All right. Ooh, okay. So they actually end up getting married, right? Remember, right now at this point in her timeline, they are just engaged, right? They are just engaged in this point in the timeline. So they actually get married, and she doesn't really want to tell people because she's a little bit ashamed of oh, I am going to marry him, and when she tells people that, we got married, the reactions from a lot of people are like, really? Really? You married him? This guy? And around this time that she gets married, that was when, like, in her story, she starts talking about, like, how she wants it to be her time. So let me see if I can find that part.
Whole issue about the BMW and all right, part 11. So for this part, I'm just going to give you some backstory on the family.
All right, we got to talk about his family. We're going to talk about his family. This is his family background.
There's all this stuff about the house. Paul's the stuff about the car. This is backstory on his family, my ex-husband's family. All right, follow me.
All right, I've watched this whole thing. I'm going to tell you who's real, who's not.
My ex-husband's parents, mom and dad, are both deceased.
That's true.
Mom passed away from cancer. Dad passed away shortly after her. I'm not sure what he passed away from. So he has a number of siblings. He has two, with his parents, he has two brothers. Yeah. One is older, lives in Philly. One is younger by 2 years, lives in Nashville.
That's a lie.
He has two sisters. One, Shantae, is older, lives in Douglasville with her husband and 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Younger sister Kim is the baby, lives in Augusta with her husband, worked at, I think he told me, Procter & Gamble. That was the story. He had 2 half brothers that were through his dad. One brother lived in Baltimore.
That's a lie.
The other brother lived in Augusta.
That's a lie.
The brother that lived in Augusta, I have physically met in person, shook hands, hugged.
No, that's real.
All that. The brother that lived in Baltimore, I have FaceTimed with, talked to him.
That's real.
The brother that lived in Philly, the older brother that he looked up to, I have never talked to him on the phone. I would always talk to him through my ex-husband. So the conversation would be like, hey, babe, brother so-and-so said, hey. He didn't call him brother so-and-so. We'll call him John. John said, hey, John.
We're calling him John because he doesn't exist.
I would be in the bathroom doing my hair, brushing my teeth. Hey, John. And he'd be like, did you hear? He said, how you doing? I was like, I'm good. How's he doing? Because that's just me. And so he would relay back and forth. He talked to John every day from starting around July after the grandmother passed away. He would talk to John every morning.
The grandmother did pass away, but he told her that she passed away in, I think, like 2020. The grandmother passed away in 2008. Wow. 2008.
Both would be getting ready for work, and he would be on the phone with John. They would be talking for 30, 40 minutes, talking about football, talking about other siblings. They would be talking about cars. It was really like not a big deal. They would talk about the brother in Baltimore. They would talk about the brother in Augusta. And then they would reminisce. This is the conversations I could hear. Let me explain. When I say I can hear a conversation, what that means is I am physically standing near him or next to him where I could hear him with the phone up to his ear talking to someone, because it wasn't me.
He ain't talking to no one. Every single day, he would get on the phone and talk to no one for 34 minutes. He's talking to no one. He's having all these conversations. He ain't talking to no one. He's talking to no one. He is on the phone having these conversations, reminiscing, talking about football, talking about life. He's talking to no one. No one's on the other line. And he did this every day for 30 to 40 minutes. He's talking to nobody every day. Who does that? Okay, this guy is mentally unstable. He has mental issues. He's talking to nobody on the phone. Okay, I need to tell you that again because I didn't believe it when, like, I'm listening to part 40 or whatever, and I'm realizing, holy shit, I thought, like, you know, she's telling the story. You know, he's talking to family. No, he's talking to nobody. And when she realized it, she was like, oh my God. She couldn't believe it. Like, she thought he was talking to somebody every single day. He's talking to nobody. Nobody is on this phone call.
Okay. I may not hear the other person because the phone call may not be on speakerphone. But what I hear is, for example, I hear, hey man, what y'all doing? Oh, for real? Y'all barbecuing this weekend? What y'all making? Oh, that's what's up. Nah, I think me and her gonna stay in this weekend because, you know, these numbers is looking crazy with COVID. Yeah, she over here. She's sitting right here. She watching TV. Okay, hold on. John said, hey. Hey, John.
Bro, these are like actual conversations that he is having. How?
You heard her? Okay. All right, bro. I just wanted to check in on you. That's the type of conversation I'm explaining. Okay, so I hope that gives a little more clarity about the type of conversations I'm hearing. So, I don't know why this light keeps going out. Okay, so that's how he would talk to his siblings. The grandmother passed away. He called me around April or May and told me that his grandmother passed away. His grandmother, on his dad's side, had died suddenly from COVID. She had symptoms. She went to bed and did not wake up. He was distraught. He was crying. He wasn't eating. He was just sitting there, listening to music, not watching TV, just sad, because he was like, my grandmother was always my support system. So from what I saw, it really bothered him.
So he tells her that his grandmother passed away from COVID in her sleep in 2020. She finds out later from his brother that his grandmother passed away in 2008, a good 12 years before this. Before he said she did. So he finds out later. That's what she finds out later. That this grandmother didn't pass away in 2020. She passed away a long time ago. So he is putting on this show for sympathy from her, for attention from her. I am so distraught. I'm crying. I'm not eating. All for what? He's putting on a show. Like, for what? For what reason? I don't understand. Oh my gosh, hail the Lord. What's up? My mom's been telling me about this story. Like, wow, he would have been better off just playing Fortnite instead of being a complete weirdo. Yeah, like that's why I want to sassy Steph always finds the weirdest stuff. Like that's why I want to talk to you, because like so many people are finding this story. That's why I'm sharing it on TikTok Talks, because I could not get away from this story. I could not get away from the story this past week. Like, it was everywhere on TikTok. People were reacting to it. People were talking about it. People are making videos on YouTube about it. And I was like, what is this story that is so captivating that it has gone like ultra viral? And I can see why, because what she went through, this man is incredible. It's mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. Like the level of lie that this man just like tells her. And when she finds out all of the lies and just how deep and delusional this man is, it's mind-blowing. It's like, oh, wow. Like, unless you're in it, right? Like, just listening to it from a viewer perspective, right? We're watching this, we're listening to it. I mean, we can make fun of it. We can comment on it. We can be like, I would never fall for any of that. Girl, why did you stay for so long? Why did you do that? The red flags are everywhere. But like that's why I think that like this is so interesting, because she was in so deep with this person. He had, planted like little tiny things in her head that just made her just completely look away, made her believe everything. Like, why would she not believe him? He's on the phone with somebody, he's talking to these people. He's going so far as to, go to a car company, sit down with the dealer, and do all these things. And like, why would she lie? Why would I not have a reason to believe him? Even though in the back of her mind she's thinking, oof, there is something wrong here, but she's not listening to the voice in the back of her head. It's crazy. This is crazy. They were married. They got married, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's more exhausting either. I don't know. This sounds exhausting trying to keep up the lie. Dude, I don't know how he did it, because he kept up with it. I mean, you just saw that he had conversations with nobody on the phone. There was nobody on the other line of that phone. He was talking to himself she said he would do it every day for half an hour, 30 to 40 minutes every single day, having conversations with nobody, with no one, because whoever he was on the other line with, that person didn't exist. That was not his brother. When she talked to his brother finally, like, he was like, I don't know who he was talking to. We don't have a brother. We don't have a brother named that. He would be talking to his sister on the phone too at some point. He's like, who's that? Who's Chantal? We don't have a sister named Chantal. Like, yeah. He's talking to nobody. How long were they together? I think they were together like less than a year. I'm pretty sure it was like less than a year. Because remember, their relationship moved very, very quickly. Like, they were living together for lockdowns when they had just met, like, I think like 3 weeks prior to when lockdowns happened. They decided to quarantine together. And then she got pregnant. And then they got engaged because she got pregnant. And then she had a miscarriage. And then later on, they got married. Their relationship moved so fast. There is a part in here in this 50-part series where she talks about why she decided to like why everything went so fast, why everything went so quickly. And I think I mentioned it before, and it was because she, you know, she was lonely. She wanted it to be her time. So, and she takes complete responsibility for all of that, for all the decisions that she made regarding this man, you know, and moving so quickly. She takes responsibility for all of it. Like she knows like it was her mistake. Everything that she went through with this dude, you know, it all came to her because she decided to allow him into her home and into her life. Like everything that she went through because she allowed it in her life. So, yeah. What's up, Anthony? Still over 150 hours. Yeah. That's crazy.
I did not think anything of it. I'm one of those people. If you tell me somebody in your family passed away, I'm gonna believe you because I don't play about death. And I guess I expect other people don't either. However, that is not the same for everyone else, but we'll get there. So family, he had his sister Shantae, who lived in Douglasville. Like I said, she was married with 2 kids. Apparently she was a nurse. So when I had my miscarriage, that was a sister that he was like, my sister will take you to the hospital. Like that's what family does. Okay. I had never met Shantae. I've been on the phone, or excuse me, I've been around him when he was on the phone with Shantae. Never heard her part of the conversation. But
she doesn't exist. Or actually, I think is Shantae. I'm trying to remember because there was a friend of their mom's. Yeah, I think Shantae was like a friend of their mom's or something like that. But that wasn't her sister. That wasn't his sister. It was like a friend of like the mom or something like that.
He would be talking to his sister. That's what he said. That's what
but considering the fact that like she never heard the conversations, I doubt that he was even talking to her on the phone.
Sounded like too. Now what is interesting is that we lived maybe 35, 40 minutes away from Douglasville. So there were plenty of times that he had invited me to go with him to his sister's house. Okay, let me tell you how this would always work out. Total times he invited me was probably 3 times for different barbecues or whatnot. The first time he invited me, I was like, no, I ain't going because again, COVID. And she's a nurse. Hell no. The second time he was like, yeah, she invited us, but I don't think we should go because COVID. No. The third time I agreed to go. I was like, absolutely, I'll go meet your sister. Like, that'd be great. On our way to her house, to Douglasville, to go see the sister. Apparently he got a phone call. The phone was always like on vibrate, but he got a phone call and he told me that something came up. And so she had to cancel the barbecue to get together, whatever. And so I was just like, oh man, you know, okay, well, hopefully we can go another time. It didn't happen close enough for me to have red flags, if that makes sense. But
they're driving on the way to this person's house for a barbecue. That's totally fake. There is no barbecue. There is no get together at this person's house, but they are still like, they got dressed, they got ready to go to this barbecue, to go to this get together. They are in the car on the way there, and it gets canceled. Holy crap.
This point, as y'all probably like, girl, you so blind. But again, I didn't think anything of it because it's like, okay, it fell through. We'll see. We'll reschedule. And so we just went out to eat, and then he talked to another brother, the brother from Augusta that he would have on speakerphone. So it was like, you know, I didn't think anything of it. I really didn't. Man, and the more I talk about it, the more I realize like I'm not a dumb person, but it just never dawned on me the things that you have to now investigate.
I feel bad because it's true. Like, at least in her situation, you know, like he's lying about his family, saying like, oh, it's such a big family, 4 brothers, or 2 brothers, 2 half brothers, 2 sisters, like big family. Nope. Little things like that. But again, this man is delusional.
It didn't dawn on me. But nevertheless, that is the backstory for his family, right? Grandmother passed away. 3 weeks later, he called me and told me his uncle had passed away from COVID. The uncle had tested positive, had to go into the hospital, and he died. It was a bit of a red flag. But like I said, I don't play about death. So I was just like, wow. Because of these 2 deaths, he became a stickler about COVID. And when I mean a stickler, wear your mask, wear gloves, hand sanitize, wash your hands. Like he was annoying about making sure neither one of us caught COVID. So now I'm gonna give you the backstory in regards to what I was told with the ex-wife. Okay, I know I look rough, but it's okay.
Woo, the story with the ex-wife. Tasman, can you imagine the things she's going to ask of her next partner? She talks about this like in her final few videos. She has lost all trust Like he has ruined her trust in people. This what she went through has completely ruined her. Like, she's lost all trust in people. She doesn't trust anybody. She doesn't trust anybody. She has to like get that back. You know, she has to learn how to trust again because she doesn't trust anybody. Yeah, she's lost it. She has lost it. Imagine, wait. The funniest thing would be if she made this all up. You know what? I'm not gonna lie, just when I was listening to this, I was like, what if she's lying? Like, what if she's lying? What if she's making this up and it ends up being like just a story, you know? But she's not making it up. Like, it's all been verified because there's been news articles going out about this story and everything like that. Like, it's all been verified. It's all been verified. And actually, spoiler alert, Legion, who is her husband's the man that she's been talking about, Legion, actually like put out a video responding to everything. Like a single video responding to everything. And he's saying that she was actually the one who did all this stuff, not him. So everything that she is saying that Legion did, she did. And the reason that their marriage ended was because she cheated on him, and so he couldn't handle it and left. I'll play the video later, but yeah.
Okay, it's okay. Anyway, so this is part 12 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So this is the backstory on what I was told for the ex-wife. This is important. Pay attention. All right, this is 2020. So this is what I was told in 2020. I was told that he and his ex-wife used to be friends. Then they started dating and subsequently got married. They got married in California. He had bought
That's a lie.
House with the money that he made from arena football. They apparently had gotten married on the downward of the arena football career.
That's a lie.
Had a nice house. He showed me a picture of the house, showed me pictures inside the house. Remember that? Showed me pictures inside the house. It was a really nice home in San Diego. And basically what happened was that he came home from work early one day and came home early from work one day and his wife was sleeping with another man. The man was in the house. He and the man get into it. Her son, who is about 17 years old in 2020, she had 2 kids, a daughter and a son. The son apparently was on his way home from school when my ex-husband found his previous wife in bed with another man.
That's a lie.
So the story goes that he and the guy fought. He kicked the guy out. He kicked his ex-wife out, but told her the kids could stay. The kids are not biologically his. Those are his stepkids. She was like, you must be kidding. Like, I'm not leaving my kids here. The kids are old enough to where they were like, we don't want to go because you fucked up. We don't want to leave. So apparently she leaves. The kids stay with him for a few weeks.
Lie.
And then she gets her own place. The kids move in with their mom. He files for divorce in California.
That's a lie.
He files for divorce in California, and it was an ugly divorce. She was asking for spousal support, all kinds of stuff. And then it turned into, I'll help you with the kids, not child support, but just I will give you some money for the kids because apparently he was very close to the kids. And he wanted to keep a relationship with the kids. Their biological fathers, apparently there were 2 fathers. Their biological fathers were not in the picture.
The whole story is a lie.
So the divorce starts out contested and ugly, eventually becomes amicable. Eventually they become cordial with each other.
Nope.
So my ex-husband moved. This is all before he ever met me. So I'm telling you the story of what I was told in 2020. So eventually about 2 years later is when his job approached him about an opportunity to transfer to Georgia. And so he took it. New beginning, fresh start. He has family in Georgia. He took it. He told me the story pretty much the second or third conversation we had. So it was always from the beginning that she had cheated. He called her and he had filed for divorce, but he was still close to the kids. They still had a great relationship. I've heard him on the phone with the kids, just encouraging them, helping
Never had any conversation with those kids. Talking to nobody on the phone.
them, helping the 17-year-old like with homework. The kids.
How is he helping her with homework? He was helping. He's on the phone with this child, helping her with homework. He's on the phone with nobody. Nobody's on the other line. All of that's a lie.
Really apparently wanted to meet me, and I was fine with that. He would send the money. They needed something because he loved the kids as if they were his own.
Lie.
I'm telling you the story as I was told it in 2020. So let's see, around April or May of 2020, he informs me that his ex-wife has moved to Georgia. Apparently she's staying with her sister in Gwinnett County. So she's moved to Georgia. The 2 kids are now in Georgia. And so when he tells me all this, I'm like, so what's that supposed to mean? Now, I will say this. He never made it seem as if she wants him back. He never presented that. It was always, no, we're cool for the kids. We're cool for the kids. But he's never presented that she was trying to get him back. I feel like it's fair to her for me to say that. And and Ken, stay with me, it all comes out. But that was the backstory in regards to the ex-wife, that they got married in California, they divorced in California, and then she eventually moved to Georgia, to Gwinnett County, after he had transferred to Georgia for his job. He did tell me that, every now and then he'll get a text message from her. He told me that he, told her when I was pregnant, he felt like she needed to hear that from him instead of hearing it from the kids. And we got into a bit of an argument about that, but in the big scheme of things, that anyway, so we got into an argument about that. I felt like the fuck, that's none of her business. But
that argument that they just had, that she's telling, that they got into an argument because he told her about the pregnancy, that was an argument based on a lie, because he doesn't talk to his ex.
That's the overall backstory of her. So remember, because there will be a quiz, but just remember, he met her in California, married her in California, divorced her in California. She moved.
Lie. He's never been to California.
To Georgia, to Gwinnett County, after he moved to Georgia. Are we clear? Okay. Part 13 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So I've kind of given you guys.
It comes out later on. All right. It comes out later on that this ex, they filed for a divorce because she filed for divorce because he put her through everything that he is putting this woman through. She cut off all contact with this man. She wanted nothing to do with this man. And later on, when Risa Tissa, which is this woman right here, when Risa Tissa is finally doing some investigating on this, on her husband, she finds information on his ex, and she calls her because she wants to know what is going on. Okay, she wants to know what is going on, and there's a specific reason why she calls the ex. All right, it's not just out of the blue. There's a specific reason why she calls this ex, and the reason is because, again, she thinks that Legion and his ex have a good relationship, an amicable relationship. They are they're close because of the kids. They got a divorce, but they want it to be amicable, whatever. Legion tells her that his daughter died. So the ex's daughter died. She passed away from COVID. And he wants to give her $2,000. They combine their bank accounts at this point, right? And I think anything over $500, they have to have a conversation about it. So he wants to give his ex-wife $2,000 to help with the expenses of a funeral. And she agrees. She's like, of course, yes. She just told that you just heard her say she doesn't play about death. She doesn't understand. She doesn't think that people will lie about something like that, lie about death. So she believes him, and she feels terrible. So she ends up doing a lot of. This is at the point where she's doing a lot of investigating, behind. He doesn't know that she's trying to figure out who the hell he is, and she finds the wife's number, or the ex-wife's number, and she ends up calling her and talking to her. And this wife is like, oh my God, if you're calling me, then it must be really bad. What is he doing to you? Because she has not had any contact with this man, and she does not want any contact with this man. She finally got him out of her life, and she's like, how did you get my number? She is freaking out right now. How did you get my number? And please don't tell him that you found me and that you talked to me, because she does not want to be involved with this man. She wants him. She finally got him out of her life. She doesn't want him in her life, right? And so she's like, don't worry, nothing will happen. I won't tell him. But she tells Risa Tissa what happened in their relationship, and it's basically built on lies. She divorced him. He has no money. He never played arena football. There was nothing like that. They were both broke by the end of it. They had to file for something to get money from the government. They're broke, right? She never asked him to pay for anything. She never asked for support, nothing like that. She was just happy to get him out of her life. When the conversation nears its end with this wife, she asks her, I just have one last, question. She got all the answers that she needed from this woman. And she's like, how's your daughter? And the ex was like, oh yeah, she's fine. She's totally fine. And she goes, why? What did he tell you about my daughter? And like Risa Tissa, she didn't have the heart. She didn't have the heart to tell her that he said your daughter died from COVID. She didn't have the heart to tell her that. He was just like, she's just like, no, I was just wondering like how she's doing. I don't know where that $2,000 went that he took, but yeah, crazy. It is crazy. Like that comes out later on, right? Like in parts, I think like 35 through 50, like you find that out. That she's finding all that information. It is crazy. It is insane. I don't know. I don't know if she doesn't have a restraining order on him. I don't think she does. I don't think she does. I need to see that homework. Yeah. But isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? Like, oh, I have this relationship. I'm talking on the phone with my daughter. She needs help with her homework, and there is nobody on that other line. I think hail the Lord. I think that the 2K, because later on it comes out that he is paying prostitutes. It turns out that like he's cheated on her like a few times. And she's actually thankful for that. She doesn't care. She's thankful for that because she wants to leave this man. She wants to divorce this man. But because she's so religious, she like in the eyes of God, she doesn't think that she can. But when she finds out that like that he's cheated on her, it was like a blessing. Like, oh my gosh, thank you, George. Like you wouldn't forgive me if I put myself in the situation. I should deal with it. But I think that you'll forgive me if I divorce him because of infidelity. Like that's she finally like kind of like had her smoking gun, so she's able to divorce him. Yeah.
All the backstory. Let's just kind of recap real quick. So I told you how we met in March of 2020.
You don't have to
lost the baby in June. No, it was not a BMW or an Audi that went out the window. And the reason why I say that was the biggest mistake is because when I pulled back the layers of this whole monstrosity of life that I lived for 2020 and 2021, it really does boil down to the fact that I truly ended up marrying him more out of fear than anything else.
Okay, this is where she talks about like why she married him. I'm hoping that this is where she talks about why she marries him, and it's really sad, like you're listening to this as a single person. As a single person, like there's some people who love being single. There's some people who really want to date and find their family and settle down and have their person. And she is the latter, right? She wants to settle down and have her person. And so she ended up marrying him out of fear that she would never find her person.
And I'll expound upon that later. But I got the car in August. And by this point, I was exhausted of looking at cars. I was mad that I didn't get a BMW X5. I was tired of getting my hopes up. So now we're going to segue into fall, going into the holidays. Here's what happened. In October, we looked at another house. This house was in Marietta. Absolutely gorgeous. It was gorgeous. I want to say that the house was about $700,000. I really like the house. I could see myself living there. I could see myself cooking there. And so subsequently, my ex-husband put in an all-cash offer on that house. I watched him put an all-cash offer in on the house. Our real estate agent, Scott, called us about 24 hours later. And he said, the sellers love your offer. The offer was an all-cash, full asking price offer. $700,000. Let that sink in for a moment. He said the sellers love the offer. They are asking that you show proof of funds so that they can accept the offer. My ex-husband said, I will show proof of funds when they accept the offer. The seller said, great, we'll accept the offer when you show proof of funds. So basically we got into a standoff. And if you're a real estate agent or you work in real estate, I would love to know your thoughts on this. I had asked people in my personal life, like, have you ever heard of this before? And I've had plenty of people who said I sided with the ex-husband. I would not show my bank statements until they accepted the offer. And then I had other people who were like, I wouldn't accept an all-cash offer unless I verified that the person can pay. So I'm just curious what your thoughts are. Okay. So our real estate agent called us and was like, guys, the sellers are giving you 2 days to show proof of funds. I had the letter that he showed me from Chase. I sent that to Scott, but that was for a mortgage. The offer was for all cash. So he needed to show proof of funds that he had the cash to pay $700,000. He didn't show it. He refused to budge on.
I wonder why he refused to budge I wonder why. Could it be that it's because he doesn't have $700,000? It is incredible, like how far, again, it's incredible how far he will take these lies. It is great. He's just all cash. Here you go. All cash offer. Show me proof of funds. Nope. What would he do what would he have done? What would he have done if they did accept the offer? They're like, okay, well, fine. We'll accept your offer. And then they went into the next step. And he eventually had to show proof of funds. What would happen then? If he did that? What happened if the buyers were like, okay, fine, we accept your offer. And then they went into the next steps and he would still have to provide the cash, right? To buy this house. What would happen? How would he do? What would he do then?
And showing them proof of funds until they accepted the offer because he was afraid that they were going to create a bidding war. So what ended up happening was Scott called us and said, I apologize because I didn't do my due diligence as a realtor. He said, before I ever started showing you guys a house, I should have collected your pre-approval letter and proof of funds. He said, so at this point, my broker has informed me that I cannot show you guys another house until you show at least us, meaning the real estate firm, until you show us proof of funds. And so I'm just like, well, I'm telling my ex-husband, just show them the fucking proof of funds. Like, what's the problem?
The problem is he don't got it. That's the problem. The problem is he doesn't have money.
And so it was a lot of, I find that this is really unprofessional because it's not our fault that you didn't do your job correctly. It got a little ugly and it got uncomfortable because I'm like, I don't understand why you don't show them proof of funds when you clearly just signed a document stating that you're putting an offer in at full asking price. This was the same thing that the realtor was saying. He was like, but you just signed an offer. So what's the problem? You want them to accept the offer and then you'll show everyone the proof of funds? And my ex-husband, without missing a beat, said yes. So Scott did his best to work with the seller and say, look, accept the offer. He'll open the books. He'll show you the proof of funds. These sellers were like, no, that's not. And it wasn't so much the sellers. It was the seller's agent. Big respect to the seller's agent. But the seller's agent was like, no, that's not how we're doing business. Yeah. He needs to show those proof of funds before I advise my clients to accept his offer, period. If he's not willing to do it, we'll go on to the next offer because they did have another offer on the table for, it was less than asking price, but they were willing to accept that offer over the all cash offer because those people had basically shown proof. So subsequently, the house fell through. We passed the 2-day deadline. They went with the other offer. Also, at this point,
he was dragging it on, right? He wanted it to fall through because he didn't have any money. He broke. He didn't have any money. He didn't have $700,000. They gave him a deadline, and he dragged it on until the end of the deadline, so he could be like, "Oh well, see, we missed it. Well, the deadline came and went. I'm not budging."
Our real estate agent, Scott, and I do not blame him for this, pretty much cut all ties because what he, I believe, felt like was, I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. Yeah. And this is not how I do business. So until you guys are ready to show the proof of funds needed to buy a house, you need to get yourself another agent because we were already about 20 to 25 houses deep by this point. We had already put in 2 other offers. They fell
20 to 25 houses. Did she just say that?
Because we were already about 20 to 25 houses deep by this point. We had already put in 2 other offers. They fell through. And now here we are with this house. And
this poor man, this real estate agent, he's working so hard to find them a home. 20 to 25 houses deep, 2 offers in, nothing. Yeah, I would have dropped them too. Holy crap.
Once again, it fell through. Okay, so good news and bad news. Number 1, this is part 14 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Bad news, this is going to be the last post for the night. And the reason I will pick back up, probably, I just want to enjoy my birthday. Then we'll be ready for part 15. As I said, I don't want to look at another house. I don't want to talk about cars.
All right, she doesn't want to look at cars. She doesn't want to look at houses.
I want to get through the holidays, the end of the year, like that. And he said he understood. A lot of what fueled me staying in this situation really was the fact that number 1, I didn't want to be alone. Number 2, I didn't want to look stupid by having the relationship end so quickly for everyone to be like, we told you something was up. And number 3, I was ready to get married. And that ready to get married fueled a lot of stuff. And again, I was still making my audio diaries. So listening back to it, I knew something was wrong. I admit that. I knew something was wrong. But what I thought it was, truthfully, was like, why does it seem like there's always something? Like, why can't we just go ahead and get the house? Why is it always something? Why can't I just get the BMW? It still didn't dawn on me how deep this something went. And for the people who keep asking, I'm going in order of events. So yes, there will be a video where I explain how everything came out and what came out, what was true, what was not true. It's coming. I'm just getting all of this out in order. So I told him I didn't want to look at a house no more. I want to talk about houses. Do not mention the word Zillow. Do not mention the word realtor. Nothing. Let me just get through the holidays. And for myself, the question was, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay with him, or do you want to cut your losses? And the part that kept me.
Oh, you got me invested in. I'm telling you, that's why, like, so many people got invested in this story. So many people got invested in the story. That's what I'm saying. Like, this needs to be like some sort of movie. This needs to be something, because you just get invested. You're like, how far can he take it? What happened next? Okay, I need to know. I need the next part. I need to know what happened next. That's why this is so long, and that is why so many people, this went super viral. Every single one of her videos got like millions of views because people just got invested in this story. Her final part, where's Risa Tissa? There she is. Hold on, her initial video got 36 million views. After that, every single video that she put out got at the very least 6 million views, 5 million views, 7 million views. Her lowest viewed video was, is it 4.2? It got like everything got 1 million views. Everybody is invested in this story. They are all invested in this story. Her re-uploads are the ones that get like the least amount of views. She created a playlist of 1 through 50 so that you can listen to it like an audiobook. Like, people got so invested in it. And Sean's like, I know, I hate it, because you're invested. The want to not be alone will always blind your common sense. That is 100%.
Me constantly second guessing myself was, what if he's not lying? What if he's not lying? There's no, literally the conversation I had with myself was, there's no way he is lying about having money. You saw the paper from Chase. They don't just approve $750,000 for a mortgage for anybody. I've seen his checking account. You see how much money's in his available checking. Like, I don't think he's lying. I don't think he's lying about that. But what is it? Is it that he doesn't trust me? Like, I second guess myself so much. Is that he doesn't.
They will have you do that. Liars and manipulators will have you second guessing yourself all the time, to the point where you don't even trust yourself. You don't trust your intuition. You don't trust that little voice in the back of your head. You start second guessing yourself. And that's what he had her do. Like, it's crazy. She's lost all common sense. She's lost it. She can't find it, because she's just like, why would he be lying? It comes out later that all of that information, all that stuff that he's showing her, the bank statements, the approval letter for the house of like $700,000 for a mortgage, that was all done with Google. They're all images downloaded from Google. They weren't real. Because she did a reverse Google search of these images. She found them on Google. Everything you told her and showed her, it was all lies. It's crazy. It is crazy.
And trust me? Is it that maybe he doesn't really want to get married? Like, what is it? Because I know what I saw. I know what I heard. I know that he's having conversations about move the money from this account to that account. I know he's paying my car note and all these bills. Like, clearly this man is making money. I know that I saw the letter from HR that states his new salary is 200 and something thousand. And I remember thinking, like, God, what am I missing? I'm missing something, but what is it? Because I know what I've seen. I know what I have touched. I have physically touched these papers. Like, I know how to read. So what is it that I am missing? He's close to his family. He talks to them all the time. You know, he's just a regular guy that just likes to watch NFL football. He leaves me alone when I want to watch Georgia football.
Man, I want some snacks. I want snacks, yo. Like, his job. So what he's doing right now, like his job, because he goes to work every day, right? He goes to work. He has a job. He's paying these bills. He makes enough to pay for her car and their house, like their rent. That he makes enough to pay for all of that. So it's not like he doesn't have any money, but he doesn't have the type of money that he's telling her that he has. He doesn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars. Oh, that promo. Oh yeah, girl, that promo. He is not vice president. That was a lie. Yeah, he doesn't have promotion. Do you guys want me to tell you what he does for a living? Because he's not VP. He didn't get a promotion. That was a lie. Do you want me to tell you what he does for a living? Or do you want to wait to find out? What is not a lie? He does work at a condiment company. That's not a lie. He works at a condiment company. He doesn't do OnlyFans. You want to wait to find out. Okay. You want to wait to find out? All right. Let's wait. Okay, we will wait to find out what he does for a living. I want some snacks though. Like I want to snack on some chips. I'm invested. All right, you know what? I like cuz it's already past 2 hours. It is already past 2 hours. Okay? Do you guys want to keep going? We're on part 14. This story has every seasoning police trope in the book. Divorce, deadbeat guy, woman looks like Mark Henry cheap weed. It does, doesn't it? Like we're over 2 hours in. Do y'all want to keep going? Nobody else is streaming right now. All right. We can keep going. Like this, dude. What I'm telling you, when you get invested, you are invested in the story. You are invested in the story. All right. We will keep going. We will keep going then because I was totally invested in the story. Well, we might not go. We'll go for another hour. You want to go for another hour? We can go for another hour. All right, let's go.
He's paying bills, groceries. I haven't had to worry financially since I've met him. And as a woman who had lived on her own, paying her own bills, my God, that is the most intoxicating feeling when you meet a guy who just takes your stress and your worry away financially. Now, the downside is he took away the stress and the worry financially away and instead brought a mental fuck job I've never in my life had experienced. And I could not put my finger on it. I couldn't really talk to anybody about it because I'm a big believer in what happens at home stays at home. So I didn't talk to my girlfriends about it. I didn't talk to my family about it. But I just remember being...
I feel like if she were to talk to somebody about it, honestly, if she were to talk to somebody about it, like how would they believe her? Would they be like, oh, it's all in your head, girl? Like, don't worry. Like, it's your man. Take care of your business. Like, how could she talk to somebody about something like this? Right? You know, like one, she wants to take care of it on her own. But at the same time, it's like, if I talk to somebody and I tell them this, I'm going to sound crazy. I'm the one that's going to sound crazy. You know? Page it for 20. Take a 5-minute break later. Thank you so much. I appreciate the 20. Thank you. I will take a break. I honestly, I think I'm going to have to take just a teeny tiny break just because, you know, I think I'm going to get something to eat or something.
And like, what am I missing? So we did not talk about houses. We did not look at cars. We didn't do any of that for November, December. And he came to me like around Thanksgiving and what I thought was a very open, loving conversation. And in that conversation, he was like, okay, I know I have fucked up. I know that things are not feeling too strong right now. He was like, I want us to get married. I want a home. I will show you whatever you need to see to put you at ease. He was very, like contrite. He was very just like, what do I need to do to put your mind at ease so that you know I'm in this and that I want this and that I love you and I want you to be my wife. So I was like, show me your accounts. He showed me his checking. He showed me one of his savings. He showed me a Chase savings. He did not show me the offshore.
Offshore doesn't exist. That's why he didn't show it, because it doesn't exist. There's no offshore account.
And he did not show me the U.S. Bank. So
U.S. Bank doesn't exist. That's why he didn't show her. Doesn't exist.
He showed me those two accounts, checking and Chase savings. So I knew that there was money. What I saw in those accounts, there was money. I told him, I was like, if we're going to buy a house, I want it to be through the mortgage on Chase. I don't want to deal with this proof of funds shit no more. I said, I do not want to look at another house until the beginning of the new year. He said, okay. That is when we then had a conversation. So I guess I lied because we are going to have a part 15 or 16 tonight. But that is when we then had the discussion about marriage. And that is where religion came into play. Yeah, I'll give y'all the other part tonight. Stand by. Okay, part 15. Who the fuck did I marry? So in December of 2020, around beginning of December, we had a conversation, kind of a come to Jesus heart-to-heart conversation. And both of us had grown up in the church. And the fact that we were not married, but living together, the fact that almost had a baby together, bothered both of us. Both of our families.
She just said both of us grew up in the church. You find out later. He did not. He said his father was a pastor. That is a lie. He did not grow up in the church.
My family and his family were very adamant, like, okay, y'all either need to get married or y'all need to separate. And so
part 15, how many are there? There's 50 parts.
So I'm walking around with a ring on, which I'll post a picture of the ring because God, there's so much to unpack. But anyway, walking around with the ring. And so he said to me, whatever I need to do my part to make this work, I'm willing to do. At the same time, it wasn't that I did not trust him as much as it was I felt like I wasn't trusting myself. Because again, like I said in the previous video, I know what I saw, I know what I read, I know what I've heard. But fuck, something was not sitting right with me. And every time I would question it in my head, the other side of me was like, okay, you know he ain't lying about the money because you saw it. So you know he ain't lying.
He has her manipulated to the point where she doesn't trust her gut. See, that feeling that she has, that feeling like something is wrong, that doubt that she has in her head, like, I don't want to marry him, like there is something wrong. Should I marry? That is everything that he has put her through. Everything that he has put her through has caused her to doubt herself. She's not trusting her instincts anymore.
Girl, are you that? Like, I remember saying to myself, are you that jaded that you don't even know what it's like to have a decent man? Yes, I really had the audacity to have that thought. So we agreed at the beginning of December, like, we wanted to be together.
She thinks, oh my God. He has her believing that he is a decent man.
I believe I loved him. I believe he loved me. So the decision was made that we were going to get married. It's still COVID, so we had to follow certain protocol. So we filed our marriage license in Fayette County, Georgia, because you could not get an appointment in Clayton County to save your life. So we filed the marriage license in Fayette County. On our marriage license, it asked the number of previous marriages. He said 1, I had 0. It asked for our social security numbers. He put his social security number down. I put my social security number down. I mentally wrote down his social security number and I did a background check. I did a background check after I had filed a marriage license. Yes, I know, but I did. The background check, nothing came back. It was like no results found. I did a criminal background check, nothing came back. So I thought one of two things. Either I had the wrong social, meaning I wrote down the wrong social, or my paranoia was unfounded. There's nothing wrong with him because he has been always throughout the relationship a big stickler about law enforcement, following the law because his dad was a retired police officer. So this is someone who has been...
That's a lie. That's a lie.
This is a guy who would check to make sure my tail lights were working, make sure my signals were working, make sure my oil was good, make sure I had enough gas in the car. So when the criminal history came back with no results, I was like, well, of course there isn't, because the man probably hasn't had so much as a speeding ticket. So we filed the marriage license, and then we made an appointment to get married and waiting for the judge to come out of chambers so that she could marry us. And the reason why I'm pausing is because, my God, if I could go back and see that young woman sitting in that lobby. Wow. I know we can't go back in time, but damn, if I could go back in time, I would. Immediately, I didn't tell anyone I was getting married because I was afraid that we had tried before in September and something came up. So I didn't want to tell anyone. I didn't want to get anyone's hopes up. I didn't want to get my hopes up. I know that's bad, but again, said I would be honest, even if it's ugly. I told my mom, my family that we got married, told my friends, they could not believe it. Like my mother was relieved, but she had no idea about what was going on. My aunt was more like, really? You married him? My friend, the one who took me to the hospital for the miscarriage, was like, I wish you would have told me, like, you deserve to have people there, take pictures and celebrate and all this other stuff. And she was like, she's the type of friend, if you like it, I love it. You rock with him, I rock with him. The moment you don't, I don't either. So she was supportive. My other girlfriends were happy for me. They just hated that I had to get married during COVID. Because they were like, we would have loved to have, thrown you a bridal shower and a bachelor.
That auntie that was like, really? I hope she's close to that auntie now. What stuck out to me, honestly, was that, she told her mom was happy for her, but she was hiding and keeping all of the things that she was going through with this man from her mom. To me, like, that's a big thing, because that tells me that, like, she was almost ashamed of all the stuff that she's going through with this guy, that, like, she didn't wanna tell her mom about it. You know, because usually, like, you confide in your mom, but she was, like, really ashamed of it, and so she didn't tell her mom. She just told her, like, "Hey, I got married." So her mom didn't know any of it.
Red party and all of that. It just sucks that you couldn't experience that. So we got married on a Tuesday. On the way home, stopped and got some wings. Went home, and I had to get ready to go to work the next day. And life. I got married January 5th. By January 31st, I knew I was in trouble.
Ooh.
I still didn't know how deep, but I knew I was in trouble. So to give you all a very, very, very candid idea, I got married January 5th. The normal things that married newlyweds do when we got married completely stopped. And that was not by me. You always hear men talk about, man, now that we're married, she don't. In my case, it was the exact opposite. It was the exact opposite.
He started cheating on her. That's why. That's why. He got locked down. This relationship is locked down. He started cheating on her. That's why it happened.
So anyway, yeah, got married January 5th. The normal things that married newlyweds do. You always hear men talk about, man, no, it was the exact opposite. So anyway, because this is not a forum to be all R-rated or whatnot, but y'all get what I'm saying. So we got married January 5th. January 6th, I went to work. It was a lot of people congratulated me because it kind of word got out that I got married. January 7th, I filed the paperwork to change my last name. And if you were following me, you can go back like 15, 16 videos, and I talk about how I had to change my name back to my maiden name. But I changed my name within about 3 days of getting married. My attitude was, this is the bed that I made. I'm gonna do right by him. I'm gonna do right by my marriage. I took marriage seriously. And when I married him, I absolutely married him thinking, I'm going to be with you for the next 40, 50 years. So we're going to figure this shit out. That was my mindset. I did not get married to turn around and be divorced in 6 months. But I got married January 5th, 2021. And by January 31st, I knew I was in serious trouble.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so she answered. Someone asked how long was she married in the chat. That's the answer. She was married for 6 months. Yeah, she was married for 6 months. I will be right back. I will be right back, and we gonna continue. We're gonna continue this. I will be right back. Or should we pause here and continue this tomorrow? This is such a good. This is such a good series. It might be long, but it's good. All right, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. All right, let's keep going. No stream for your chair. It's cracked. Sorry. I should have just muted and left my chair up. Dude, did you really want me to just leave my chair up? Worst stream. That's my. Hey, look. Oh my God. Are y'all happy? You wanted the chair, you got the chair. There you go. You wanted the chair, you got the chair. The next time I go out or I go and get a snack, I'll leave the chair up, okay? I'll leave it. That's my bad. I'm very sorry. Hey, I am very sorry. Look, if y'all are gonna send my chair super chats, I'll do the rest of the stream sitting on the floor. Okay. I'll put the mic on the floor. You can send my chair some super chats. If y'all are gonna send my chair super chats, that's fine. I'll do the stream on the floor. All right. Let's keep going.
So that is where we are. The next set of videos, the next set of all this will be me talking about how things went downhill before it crashed and I found everything out. In the meantime, tomorrow is my birthday. So happy birthday to me. The fuck did I marry? This is the interlude, basically. I'm not recapping on this video. I'm just kind of answering some stuff that has been written to me. Someone was like, why are you airing your business out on social media? It's about...
Okay, look, it's an interlude, right? Let me skip through this part. But she started getting, I don't want to say hate, but she started getting people asking like, hey, why are you airing all your dirty laundry on social media, right? That's this question. That's a fair question. It's a question that I would ask. It's a question that I would ask. But so her answer is, one, this is like therapy for her, right? She's letting it all out. And two, it's a cautionary tale to other women out there. So she doesn't want to be a cautionary tale and call it a cautionary tale, but it is on her part. It's a cautionary tale for other women. Like, she wants to tell her story so that way if other women like date some guys or, go out with guys and they see these red flags in them, don't ignore them like she did. And it's and then like the third reason was like it's like a release for her to finally like just talk about it, just get it all out. It was like the last thing she needed to do to just kind of move on from everything. It's therapy for her. It's therapeutic.
Call him in real life. So that way it clears up the whole fiance, boyfriend, husband, ex-husband thing. So his name is Legion. Anyone that knows me will tell you that is what I call him. So Legion and I, when I left off at part 16,
I fucking forgot. I muted it because I was about to open my bag of chips. All right. We are 17 parts in. Did y'all even hear what I said about like did y'all heard what I said about it being therapeutic for her, right? Like it's just this part that you didn't hear. Okay, you heard that part, right? Because I think I muted after that. So this, yeah, you did. Okay, perfect. So this is the first part. We are 17 parts in the 50-part saga, right? And this is the first time we are hearing what she calls this man, his name. She calls him Legion. That is what she calls this man. This is the first time we are hearing like his not his actual name, but what she calls him. All right, this is the first time we're putting a name to this boyfriend, this fiance, her husband now because they're married. Sorry. Didn't mean to mute the chair. All right. Let's keep going.
Or she's in part 15. Legion and I'm
going to mute myself because I'm going to open my bag of chips, okay?
We got married January 5th of 2021. For the first 2 weeks, things were fine. We got into like a routine, basically. I would go to work, he would go to work. He was still leaving the house at around 6:15 every morning. He was still on the phone with his brother, the one that lived in Philly, every morning. They would that was their time to talk. From what I was told.
Son of a bitch, I muted again because I'm eating chips. God damn it. Michael for 50. For 50. I'm dumb. Mike Hill for $10 says chair super chat. Bro, I need to stop muting. I'm just going to eat the chips. Okay, you guys are just going to hear me eat chips because I'm just fucking muting. Dude, a chair super chat, bro. Dude, if y'all keep sending chair super chats, I'm serious. I will like send a $50 super chat. I will sit down on the floor for 5 minutes and y'all can just look at the chair. Okay. I don't mind. My chair is beautiful. I love my chair. Let's keep going.
The brother got off work. I guess he must have worked the third shift. And so he was getting off work as Legion was getting ready to go to work. So that was the perfect time for them to talk. He would talk to his brother in Baltimore and the brother in Augusta. Pretty much, just a quick phone call here and there, if not every day, every other day. So everything was pretty much the same. I would talk to my mom almost every day. I would talk to my aunt almost every day. So it was nothing to kind of, that's weird. That's what the morning routine was. He would talk. So I worked at Georgia State Patrol. And I said this in a previous video, but again, there were things I said in previous videos that I remember saying, hey, remember that because it's going to come back later. So I worked at Georgia State Patrol. I had been working there for almost 8 years, 7 or 8 years by the time Legion got into the picture. He was fine with the fact that I worked within law enforcement. I'm not a trooper. I'm not a sworn officer. I'm a civilian. However, he, again, his dad was a retired police officer. So he was perfectly fine in the beginning with the fact that I worked for Georgia State Patrol. He had been to my office before. He had met some of my coworkers. Obviously, even with COVID, because I still had to go into the office 2 or 3 days a week, he had been up there. So the friend who took me to the hospital when I had my miscarriage has met him. He and I have been to her home with her and her significant other before. So again, even in the world of COVID, when there were little times where you could get together with people, he has met people in my life. He has met my friend or that particular friend, and he has met some of my coworkers. So when we got married, the first 2 weeks, like I said, was fine. And then it's as if something snapped. Something just changed. What was totally acceptable before, suddenly little comments were made. Why are you wearing that to work? You get off at 3:30, so you'll be home by 5, right? Things that had never happened before. He had never questioned what time I'm going to be home.
Okay. This is interesting. When I like heard this part, I thought it was interesting because he's already like, they're married now, right? They're married. So he already has his hooks into her. Now he has her self-doubt. Now she has her doubting herself, right? Because when she's like thinking about the lies and stuff, she starts to self-doubt. He's devaluing her now, right? He's starting to now really like beat at her self-confidence now. He wants, because remember when I told you like in part like what 2 or 3, I don't even remember. When it was when she was having her miscarriage, she wanted him or he wanted her to just rely on him solely for everything, right? So now it looks like he wants to have her rely on him for her self-confidence, which is why he has to beat it out of her first. He has to devalue her. Ooh, this man.
Really, he didn't need to question it because when I'm off work, I leave. So it was never a situation of, oh, I'm just sitting around at work and just run my mouth because I have nothing to do. And then it turned into, he would call me every day from work. And I'm going to demonstrate how those phone calls went. He would call me every day from work. And if he even so much as heard a male voice in the background, he would have little comments to me. Who's that? Are they in your office? man, I never know who's around you, because it seems like every time I call you, I have the hiccup, sorry. It seems like every time I call you, there's some man around. And I'm just like, at first I kind of shrugged it off. I laughed it off because it really truly was absurd to me. But then it became a bit more frequent. And so I really just didn't feed into it, because I'm like, I don't know if this is some insecurity. I don't know if this is jealousy, because nothing has ever been done to make you feel any sort of insecure type of way. I've never entertained another guy, never flirted with another guy. Like, I don't know where this is coming from. So it is also important to note, we got married January 5th. Things started changing around 2 weeks later. And the reason why I know it's 2 weeks is because I had recorded an audio diary on January 21st is the date of the audio diary. And I talk about how maybe I had unrealistic expectations, because it seemed as if things were changing with he and I. So 2 weeks pass, he starts making little comments. End of January comes.
It's interesting. I think like we've heard her mention her audio diaries. She started like doing audio diaries of stuff that would happen with her and Legion. For whatever reason, she said that she's just started making these. She doesn't know what prompted her to start, making these audio diaries, but she started to make audio diaries. And she said, like, throughout this thing, that's what prompted her to create this 50-part series, was because she was like, found them, she listened to them, and she was just like, wow, what did I go through? But that's why like her recall is so incredible, because she kept these diaries.
He informs me that he wants to start looking for a house again. I had no real desire to go through that process. So what he decides is that he's going to look for a house for us using his friend, the realtor, the one I did not meet. So he tells me that he and his friend have been talking, and he's going to start looking at houses. And what he's going to do is basically, if he feels like it's a house I would like, then he wants to show it to me, because he feels like, I know that your attitude really isn't, you're in the mood to look for a house. So I'm gonna start looking. And then if I think it's a great house, then, you can come see it. And I remember thinking, that's not going to work. You're not going to choose a house without me. He was like, no, I'm not going to choose a house, but I just think that, me and old boy have been talking. And so he has some houses that he is representing. He wants to show me. So why don't you let me look at it? And if it's worth the time, then I'll bring you to look at it. So he already had some sort of plan in place after talking to his friend about how he's going to start looking at houses. This is the end of January, 2021. So I kind of threw my hands in the air and was just like, whatever, because I'm not getting emotionally involved in looking at houses. And for me, that's kind of what it was. I felt like I would see a house, I could picture us living there, and then it gets snatched away somehow, some way. I didn't want to go through that. So the reaction that he wanted, which was for me to throw a fit, I did not do. I was just like, okay, all right, like, I trust you. And remember that I said the reaction he wanted, because that's going to come back later. So he started looking at houses. Funny enough, the houses that he looked at, none of them I actually saw. But he would call me and say, I'm at this house in Sandy Springs with the realtor friend. Apparently his realtor friend's name was Scott, not to be confused with the other Scott, the one that was actually helping us, that dropped us as clients. I want to make that clear. There were two Scotts. One is the realtor who was representing us, who said, hey, I need proof of funds. If you don't have those proof of funds, I cannot show you any more houses. The other Scott is his friend, who he had talked to on the phone at least 50 to 100 times in front of me.
That's Scott.
That's the Scott that he said is going to show me this house in Sandy Springs.
Apparently, that Scott doesn't exist. That Scott is fake. It's a fake Scott. He was talking to himself. It's Scott real. Scott is not real. Talking to himself. Talking to himself 50 to 100 times. He doesn't exist.
The house was like $800,000. So he was like, I think that if I like the house, then I'm gonna bring you out here so you can see it. All right. Now let's go into part 18. Okay, part 18. Who the fuck did I marry? So he starts looking at houses in Sandy Springs, Alpharetta area with his friend Scott. I did not see any of these houses. I did not go. I didn't want to go. So what was starting to change is, remember I said before, he would leave the house every day at around 6:15. He would be home every day between 3:30 and 4 o'clock without fail. It was so, I shouldn't say it was annoying, but I could set my clock by the fact that I would hear that garage door open between 3:30 and 4 o'clock every day that he went to work. Even during lockdown, he still had to go to work. His job was only locked down for maybe a week. For me, I was allowed to work from home, but unfortunately, I did not handle it well. And so I would fall asleep and not check emails. So my boss was like, yeah, you don't have to come back to the office because you're not trustworthy. And I wasn't. I mean, I would watch Netflix and not even be on my computer. So I had to start going back to work every day, 5 days a week. And me and another lady were the only two in there because we were the only two who did not handle work from home properly. Anyway, that's another story. So Legion he started to not come home by 4 o'clock. He started to come home 5, 5:30, 6, 6:30, sometimes 7 o'clock. Because
he was cheating on her. That's what he was doing.
As he was saying that he was looking at houses after work with his friend Scott. So it definitely was noticed that things are changing. And I just, at this point, kind of emotionally and mentally, I was just like, I don't know what to do. This is the end of January. Remember, I told you in part 15, I got married January 5th. By January 31st, I kind of knew I was in trouble. And by the end of January, sure enough, I knew things were changing in a way that I was like, I hate to sound redundant, but what the fuck is going on? So he still maintained the story of looking for.
When she said that, when she said that, the first thing that came to my mind was, what the fuck is going on? Anyways, okay, sorry.
Looking for a house. I had already let him know my lease is up in August. When my lease is up in August, I am moving to Cobb County. And my attitude was kind of like, you can go with me or you can stay here. I don't care, but I'm moving. I'm leaving Clayton County. The reason why I was so adamant to move was not because of Clayton County. It was not because of the house that I was in. It was because Legion had started to create this narrative that he was beefing with my female neighbor. He was trying to
That's a lie.
Get me to believe that my female neighbor to the left of me, somehow was interested in him. And so she would make these little comments and he would come in the house complaining about her and her music and the fact that she had, different men over to the house. It was driving me crazy. And all of this was kind of starting in January. So when I say that, it really seems like we got married January 5th, and then we had 2 weeks of peace, and then something just snapped. I literally mean something just snapped. So he's looking at houses. Now we're moving into February. February obviously is my birthday month. He did good. He did good to make Valentine. He went all out for Valentine's Day. He went all out for my birthday. My birthday and Valentine's Day are February 14th and February 15th. So he went all out on both days. Y'all ain't even gonna believe this story. But I said I would share even when it makes me look bad.
That's interesting that he actually celebrated Valentine's Day and her birthday. That is interesting.
So
he didn't create issues on those days. He made them nice. I mean, as nice as it could be, right? Considering the type of person that he is. Ugh.
The weekend after my birthday. And what I mean by that is if my birthday was on a Tuesday, we're talking about Saturday. The weekend after my birthday, he gave me money to go to the nail salon, go get a manicure and pedicure. So I leave the house.
Oh my God. I remember this story. I remember listening to this story that she is about to tell and just be like, what the fuck? Like, okay, look, y'all know everything. If I wasn't here to provide the commentary and tell you like there's nobody on the line that he's talking to, right? That's all lies. If I wasn't here to tell you like that, right? You would get to this part of the story and think like, holy shit, there is seriously something wrong with this man. Okay, let's listen to the story.
Take his car. His car was in the driveway. We had a key to each other's car because, again, we're married at this point. We're talking February 2021. So I take his car and I drive to the nail salon over in Morrow. I'm in the chair getting a pedicure and I get a text message from my husband saying, someone was just at the house looking for you. And I'm like, who was looking for me? Who was it? And he said, I don't know. I think it was some, this is through text. I don't know. I think it was some dude you used to mess with. Okay. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, I'm telling you, some guy just came to the house looking for you. I told him you were not here. So at this point, y'all, I'm in the chair at the salon. I'm freaking out because I'm like, who the fuck has the audacity to come to my home unannounced, uninvited, talking about they're looking for me?
He tells her, hey, I'm going to pay for your manicure. I'm going to pay for your pedicure. You go have a good, relaxing time. Right? Take my car. Go have a good, relaxing time. Go treat yourself. So that's what she's doing right now. She is having a nice, relaxing time, manicure, pedicure. If you guys don't know, all right, spa days when we go and get our nails and our feet and our eyebrows waxed, like all of that is just relaxing. Okay, they put you in this chair, like you're getting your pedicure done. Sometimes the chairs have like massagers and stuff, or people come around and they'll massage your shoulders, like. You get when you're getting your manicure, you get your arms and your hands massaged. Same thing with your feet. Like it is supposed to be a relaxing time at the spa. But it could not be relaxing for her. All right.
Especially because before I met my husband, I was working the last shift at Amazon as a part-time job. So I had not dealt with, dated anything with anyone for about a year before I met him in March of 2020. So I really was like, who the hell is this coming to my house? So I finished the pedicure. I head home. Once I get home, I'm like, what are you talking about? What happened? And so I'm frazzled in a way. And he's calm. He was like, yeah, it was a black Dodge Charger. They pulled into the driveway. They backed in. They backed in as if they had been here before. So clearly this was someone who who's been to your house. He got out the car. He said, I opened the door and I went out there and I said, is there something I can help you with? And he said, the guy said, I'm looking for, and gave him my name. And he said, I'm sorry, she's not here. And he was like, oh, okay. All right then. And just got in the car and drove off. And I was like, my brain stopped working because I'm thinking, who the heck could this be? A Dodge Charger? I was like, are you sure that it wasn't law enforcement? Like, was it the sheriff's office trying to serve me with a lawsuit for a credit card I didn't pay? He was like, no, he was in regular clothes. He was like, and it was not a police car. It was not a marked unit, basically. And so I'm just like, who the heck could this be? And he was like, I know who it was. And I said, who? He was like, I think it was your ex. I said, what ex? He was like, the one that you had dated for 2 years. Remember back in like part 3, part 4, I told y'all, he told me about his ex. I told him about mine. I thought we were being honest with each other. So now.
So now she thought that they were being honest with each other. Now he's going to use that information against her. Not against her, but, he's taken that nuggets of information that she gave him and use it to create a little bit of drama. Let's keep going.
Fast forward to February 2021. And he's telling me, yeah, I think it was the ex that you had been dealing with for those 2 years before you met me. I said, so you think that he showed up to the house uninvited after 2 years? And he was like, well, whoever it was clearly was comfortable backing into our driveway, getting out the car, and was like, I'm here to see, and gave him my name. And so he was like, she's not here. Is there something I can help you with? And the guy was like, no, it's cool. And they just got in the car and drove off. So again, brain is like, who could this be? So then Legion says to me, you know what? The way that you reacting to this is real suspect. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, you over here freaking out. I told you I took care of it. I told you it's fine. And you over here freaking out, which makes me wonder, what have you been up to? Now, let's go to part 19. Okay.
She's freaking out. She is freaking out because you were telling her that someone came to her house to look for her. You're not being very detailed about it. You're just having like your suspicions. Oh, it might think it's some guy that you messed with, even though you've never seen any pictures of her exes. This is all just like in your head, right? You're just telling her like, oh, I think it was this guy. That's why she's freaking out. Oh, you know what? So he is telling her this information. Someone came to your house looking for you. I think it was your ex. So she's like, oh my God, who is it? Like, what do they look like? Who is this person? Like she is like legitimately freaking out that someone came and looked for her. She's trying to figure out who it is. And now he's turning it around on her and being like, you know what? You're acting real sus. And making her feel like, well, what kind of a reaction am I supposed to have? This is crazy.
Part 18, who the fuck did I marry? So he says to me, the way you're acting is real suspect because I told you it was fine. I took care of it. He was like, I ain't even worried about it. He was like, obviously, that nigga didn't know that you now married, that you've moved on. And so now he knows it. But for me, it was the fact that I don't do pop-ups. Don't come to my house unannounced. So if someone has done that, for me, it automatically feels like a violation and it feels like it needs to be addressed. So it was not as simple as, I already took care of it. It's fine. Let it go. No, we ain't letting nothing go because you don't have my permission to show up to my house. And before this turns into something where I'm going to be on Fox 5 News, I need to address that with you because that is not okay. So he didn't like the reaction I had to the story he told me where someone basically disrespected my home. And he felt like my reaction was really suspect. So what I'm going to get into the little details that he did not know about. So he tells me, again, it was a black Dodge Charger. They backed into the driveway. A gentleman got out of the car and he asked for me by name. And Legion said, she's not here. So I asked him, what does the guy look like? And he was like, what does it matter? I said, what the fuck does he look like? So Legion proceeds to give me the most generic description you can give. He was like, well, he was shorter than me. Ex-husband is about 6'3", 6'4". He was shorter than me. He was brown skinned. I said, did he have a hat on his head? Mind you, I understand that before marriage, I was a damn fool. I understand that. But every woman has that moment where you only gonna fool her but for so long. And eventually puzzles start coming together. For me, I felt like moving into marriage, certain things started coming together. So I said to him, did he have a hat on his head? He was like, no, he didn't wear a hat. So in my mind, I'm mentally going down a list of every possible man it could be. And it was only like 4 men. I had been in that house.
4 men. It was only four men who could possibly come to her house. Only 4. All right. This kind of shows like how much like she pays attention to things and how much Legion pays attention to things because he's making stuff up. You know, his lies always have like a lot of detail and stuff, but when it comes to like her background, he has a hard time pulling because he probably doesn't care to remember, right?
About 3 or 4 years at this point. So I knew all of the people, and I'm talking about from maintenance down to ex-boyfriends. It was a total of like 4 men. So when he said that it was a black Charger, I immediately was like, okay, I know that crosses out one. He said he was shorter than him. All of them are shorter than him. I said, did he have a hat on his head? He said, no, that crossed out one, because one in particular was a maintenance guy who always wore a hat on his head because he had like a bruise or something, and he was just self-conscious about it. So he always wore a hat. At least two. So I said, was he muscular or was he skinny? So Legion's getting all frustrated. I said, just answer the question. He's like, well, he was kind of in between. And I said, okay.
Kind of
he was in between. I said, so was he light skinned or was he dark skinned? He was like, I told you he was brown skinned. I said, was he my complexion? He said, no, he was brown skinned. That eliminates one. So now there's one left. And yes, the one left would have been the ex that I had dated for 2 years. And so he was like, I know it was your ex. I know it was your ex. And I was like, that don't make no sense, because the ex that in my mind, I'm saying this, the ex that I had dated, he and I had no contact with each other. And he was not the type to just pop up at your house. That ain't his style. Not to mention, and I can tell Legion this, that man would not be caught dead driving a Dodge Charger. He hated Chargers because he drove it as a patrol car. So I didn't say anything.
I'm sure this is so confusing for her. Like, who is at my house? But it gets even better later. It gets better later.
I just was like, that's weird. So what Legion didn't know is that at the time I had a security system. So I had a security system where anytime the front door, the garage door, or the back door was open, basically any entry point, anytime it was open or closed, it would send me a text message notification. So when he's telling me all this, I'm looking at my phone and I see a notification where the front door was opened and it was shut, all within the same minute. So for example,
a minute. Oh my God. Vice for $10. I'm sure that is a chair super chat. Thank you so much, Vice. I appreciate that. She has a security system. He doesn't know that. He didn't know. He didn't know about it. He doesn't care to know.
Well, if it says front door open at 1 p.m., front door closed at 1 p.m. So whatever he did was within those 60 seconds. He's telling me the story of the guy got out the car. He opened the door. He went out there. Can I help you? And the guy said, I'm looking for, and Legion said, no, she's not here. And so he said the guy kind of was like, okay. And he was like, all right, thank you. And got in the car and drove off. Legion has also told me that he watched him drive out of the neighborhood, which means because of the way the house was set up, the townhouse, he would have still been outside watching this. I could be wrong, but something in me was like, that would take more than 60 seconds. So for the door to have been open and shut within the same 60 seconds, I was like, okay. So also what he didn't know, we didn't have a Ring door camera, but my neighbor did. And her Ring door camera caught my driveway. The view of the camera could see my driveway as well as her driveway. And so whoever was coming in the door, our driveways were.
Bless Ring doorbell. All right. Bless Ring doorbell. I feel like if this hadn't happened, right? If this hadn't happened, if she hadn't have caught this, I think that she would have I think that she wouldn't have had like even more reason to be suspicious of this man. If this hadn't happened, if this particular incident hadn't have happened, I think that it would have taken her a little bit longer to be like really, really, really suspicious of him.
Were right next to each other, and then on the other side of it was the grass. So it was a perfect view of my driveway. So she, I text her and I said, hey, were you home? I think I texted her the next day because I said, were you home on Saturday? Da, 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 da. And she said, no, I wasn't. What's up? Everything good? And I said, can you look at your security system and see if there was a car that came to my house at such and such time? And I know I did not tell her the reason I was asking, but I was like, is there any way that your security camera caught if someone came to my house at this time on Saturday? She's like, yeah, sure, I'll look. And so maybe about a couple of hours later, she texted me back and said, hey, I looked at the camera, but I didn't see anything. And I said, okay, by any chance, did it catch if someone maybe walked up the driveway? Like maybe it wasn't a car in the driveway, but someone walked up. She said, I didn't see anything with your driveway yesterday. So I said, okay. And I knew that something in me, again, was like, nobody came to the house. So now here we are.
Something in her knew. Like she had already had that doubt, right? That seed of doubt that she had, that is in her, that she's been ignoring. Like all this time, she's just been ignoring it. If this hadn't happened, I don't think that I don't think she would have been pushed to like investigate this man even further. She should have. Now, by her own admission, she should have investigated him even more. Going into all of this, going into the relationship. By her own admission, she realizes that she did a lot of things wrong. But if this hadn't happened, I don't think that. I think it would have taken her a little bit longer to really, really investigate a little bit further into this man.
A month and a half married. And now is when I'm like, why the fuck did he make that up? Because no one came to the house. No black Charger came to the house, pulled back into the driveway. Nobody got out the car and asked for me. Nobody was looking for me.
That was all a lie. He made that up. He made it up. That was it. And you know why he made it up? He made it up to see her reaction. Like that was it. He just wanted a reaction out of her. That was all. That was the only reason he made it up. But all of it was a lie. It was all made. Nobody came to her house. Nobody came to her house in a black Charger with just a regular build looking man who was brown, right? A brown man came to her house. Nobody looked for her. Nobody asked for her. Nobody pulled in backwards into her driveway and came looking for her. Nobody was there. He didn't come outside and tell this person that she's not here and then watch him drive away. Nothing. It never happened. He made it all up. That was it. He made it all up.
So now I was sitting in the bedroom thinking through all this, and I'm like, why the fuck did he make that up? Because that's what happened. I'm looking at the text messages on my phone where he's telling me someone just came to the house looking for you, but no one came. So what was the purpose of that? And then something said to me, something in me said, he wanted to see a reaction. He just wanted to see the reaction. You had been too calm, and so he wanted to see a reaction. So this man gaslit me like I was Georgia Natural Gas just to get a reaction.
Like
welcome,
ladies and gentlemen,
to part 20 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry?
Oh, she mad. Oh, she getting angry. See, this part right here, that's why I say, that is why I say, if this hadn't happened, right? If he hadn't lied and made up this grand story and she checked her little security camera, she checked her neighbor's Ring doorbell, then, you know, if this part, this was like the inciting incident, right? This is the inciting incident in her life that led her to investigate this person even further and try and figure out, who the fuck did I marry? Who the fuck did I marry? You can tell when she's recalling this story, she is getting angry. She is so mad that he created this false story, that he created this grandiose story of someone coming to her house, putting her through all of that, trying to get a reaction out of her. You know, all of that, just trying to get a reaction out of her. That was it. He put her through all of that. She's mad. She is mad. Who the fuck did I marry? She is so angry right now.
All right, part 20 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So after the black Dodge Charger incident, things were quiet. Legion was fine. Legion slept just fine. Me, that shit played over in my head for days and days and days. On one hand, I was like, I know nobody came. My head knew nobody came to the house.
I bet it did. I bet he slept so peacefully. I bet he was sitting in there just like snoring away. Sleep, nothing wrong. He didn't even think twice about it. He didn't think twice about, you know, lying, putting her through all that. She can't sleep. She is going through it over and over and over. And I guarantee you, she is thinking like, okay, he lied about that. What else could he lie about? I guarantee you, she is playing all of that stuff in her head. If she can make up this lie, what else has he lied about? I'm telling you, that was the inciting incident that led to her discovering all this other stuff about him.
My heart was like, but maybe he didn't make it up. So the head and the heart were absolutely playing a tug of war because, again, I really couldn't fathom that he was making it up. But nevertheless, I filed it in the back of my mind in my little filing cabinet, my mental filing cabinet. So a few weeks later, we go out to eat at this restaurant in Atlanta. It's a burger place, and I'm going to do my best by the time I post this to put the name of the burger place on the screen. So we go to the burger place, eat dinner, everything was fine. As we are leaving, he says to me, did I ever show you where my grandmother's buried? This is the grandmother that passed away from COVID in 2020. And I said, no. I was like, we haven't been over here. And so he was like, let me show you. So he drives us to the cemetery, which is not far from the restaurant. He drives us to the cemetery, goes around and around, and then...
Now remember, this is the grandma, right? This is the grandma that died from COVID in 2020. That was a lie. His grandma actually died in 2008, right? So now let's build upon that lie. Okay, let's build upon that lie. Hey, my grandma that died. Remember that you were consoling me. He cried. He couldn't eat, right? He couldn't eat. He made this grand, like just, he's mourning. He made this grand thing going through mourning because his grandma died of COVID in 2020. That in fact was a lie. Grandma died in 2008. But now he's going to take her to where she's buried.
And it comes to like a little hill in the cemetery. And he was like, you see the headstone. The headstone had like the family name on it. And it did not have, for example, John David Doe. It just had Doe. Okay. So there were no dates on it. So it reminded me of just a headstone where it was probably multiple family members buried underneath it. That's what it reminded me of. And so he was like, my grandfather and my grandmother are buried there. I do recall him telling me when the grandmother died in 2020 that she wanted to be buried next to his grandfather. And so we're sitting in the car because we can see the headstone like on top of the hill from the car. And he tells me that that is where his grandmother and grandfather are buried, that the family was able to get her, her wishes were to be buried next to the grandfather. Okay. So as we are.
Look, we're on part 20. This is a 50-part series, okay? I didn't even think that I would have to remember this cemetery story, right? But you have to remember the cemetery story because it comes up later on. It comes up later on in this story. It's crazy. Oh my gosh, we're only on part 20. Eric says, oh my God, this is still going. Yes, we're only on part 20, okay? I didn't think that I would need to recall this cemetery story. And there's a reason that she is telling you every single thing, right? If she's telling you a cemetery story, it's because you need to remember that cemetery story. All right. If she's telling you names of people, you need to remember the names of all of these people. If she's telling you a conversation took place, you need to remember that, because honestly, I didn't even think that I would need to remember this cemetery. So I thought he was just taking her to a cemetery story. I thought he was just taking her here, and then later on we find out, oh, that's not real. Like, I didn't even think that I would need to remember like this location. It is crazy.
Leaving, we take a different route home. So we get on the highway. If you're from Atlanta, you'll know what I'm talking about. We get on I-75 North, and we're just driving around, to be honest with you. But we're taking the scenic route. We get on I-75 North because the reason why I remember is because when you're on I-75 North going towards Atlantic Station, on the right-hand side, you will see the Varsity. You'll see all these tall skyscraper buildings. One of the buildings has the letters NCR on the building. As we're coming up towards the building, he says to me, do you see the NCR building? I said, yeah. He said, the building behind it, my job bought that building. That's where we're going to have, we're setting up operations. And I was like, why the hell would y'all buy a condiment company in downtown Atlanta? He was like, no, we're not doing production there. It's just going to be offices. And that's where we're going to handle like the business portion. The production is still being done in Gwinnett County out in Duluth. And so I was like,
he lied to her.
Oh, okay. He was like, that's where I keep the company car. So I was like,
oh, we back to the company car. We remember the story that she told us about the company car, and they went there and he had to get that paperwork because the guy wasn't there. He wasn't in the office that day, to provide the information to the dealership for the company car. Remember the company car? It is coming up again. The company car.
The company car. I said, aren't you supposed to be bringing the company car home? And he was like, I don't want to bring the company car home because it's Clayton County and it's a $90,000 car. And I don't want no problems. So he's telling me that he keeps the company car at the building downtown Atlanta that's behind the NCR building. I barely could see what building he's talking about, but he was like, it's the building right behind it. And so he's telling me that that's where his office is. So
ain't no office there. There ain't no office building there. Okay, there is no, she could barely see it. Why? Why could she barely see it? Because it's not there.
I said to him, take me to your office. I know it's a Saturday, but shit, you wanted to be bees, right? So take me to your office. No, I had not been to his office.
Oh, she is smart. She is smart. She is doubting everything that he is saying at this point. She's like, take me to your office. I want to go see it. I want to see your office now. You telling me all this? Okay, prove it. Take me to your office. It might be Saturday. I still want to go see it. You're the vice president of your company, aren't you? Right? You're the vice president. You can go to your office. You're the VP of the condiment company. You can go and get into this. I want to see your office. Show me.
Simply because, again, COVID. So I was like, take me to your office. And he was like, I can. He was like, that's no problem. So do I have the other phone? I do. So y'all are in luck. So I can maybe reenact how this goes. So he gets off the exit and starts driving towards the NCR building. While he's driving towards the NCR building, he always has kept his phone in his left pocket. This is my left hand. So he pulls his phone out and he starts calling. He tells me he's calling Willie. Willie is supposed to be the head of security. So
there ain't no Willie. There ain't no Willie.
Saying, let me call Willie real quick to make sure that the building's open. So he proceeds. This is another phone, but he proceeds to go ahead and call Willie. We're still driving, by the way. We're still driving. I'm on the phone, scrolling through Facebook, trying to figure out some random shit. But he's driving with the phone up to it. So driving with the phone. Next thing I hear, hey Willie, it's Legion. Hey, how's it going? I'm good. Hey, is the building open? No, I just want to take my wife up there so she can see it and see my office. Are you up there right now? You're not? Okay, is Mr. Justin working? Okay.
There ain't no Mr. Justin. There ain't no Mr. Justin.
So is there anybody up there that can physically open the building? Because I don't think my badge is going to get me at least in the front door because of it's on the weekend lock.
Okay. It's on the weekend lock. So there's a weekday lock and a weekend lock. He can't get in.
Okay. All right. Let me know. All right. Thank you, Willie. Bye. Y'all see how I did that? He's having this whole conversation while I'm sitting in the passenger seat. So then he gets off.
There's nobody on the other line. He's talking to nobody. He is having nothing. There's nobody. There ain't no Willie. Ain't no Mr. Justin. There's nobody. All right. Yeah. There's a weekend lock for a VP. You think you're a VP, you would have the access to the weekend lock, even if there is a weekend lock. As vice president of the company, you should be able to get into that building whenever, right? Weekend lock. Talking to nobody on the phone.
The phone, he says to me, Willie is not working, and Justin apparently called out sick. So the building is locked, and my badge won't get us in the front door. He was like, Willie's gonna see if there's someone else that can open the front door so we can actually get in. He's like, my badge will get us on the floor, but it will not get us in the front door. No one ever called. So when he's getting off the highway, he basically turns onto Spring Street. Again, there's all kinds of shit I distinctly remember. He turns onto Spring Street so that he can then get on 75 South so we can go home. Never saw the office that day.
Of course, she never saw the office that day. There's no Willie. There's no Mr. Justin. There's no weekend lock. That building probably it doesn't even exist, because he's telling you it's over there with my company car that doesn't exist either. None of it is true. Nothing.
Again, this is where he's saying that he keeps the company car. So when we get to part 21, I'll kind of go into detail about the whole company car a little bit more. Part 21, who the fuck did I marry? So the company car apparently was a charcoal gray BMW. I believe it was a 5 Series. It was a 5 Series. I don't know much about the sedans. Y'all know I wanted the X5 dark blue with the cognac interior. He got the BMW 5 Series charcoal gray. He sent me a picture of the car. So I did see a picture of the car. After this whole NCR building.
She saw a picture of a car. Right? Not the car. Not the company car. She saw a picture of a car. Oh my God. This car doesn't exist. There's no car. There's no company car.
Take me to your office. That is what he's claiming, is that he leaves the company car at that location. He's saying that he drives from Riverdale to Midtown, switches out cars, and then drives from Midtown to Duluth. Those that don't know how Metro Atlanta is, basically Midtown would be in between where we live and Duluth. I only know that he left the house every day at 6:15. I know that I never physically saw the company car come to our home. Saw a pictures, plural. So
there ain't
when
no
he told
company
me
car
that he got a BMW 5 Series, keep in mind, this is after I had been promised a dark blue X5. So I was a bit salty. I don't care if it is a company car. I was a bit salty. I will admit that. Because I felt like you get to drive the car that I really want, which is a BMW. And so he would call me from the car. He would tell me, yeah, I may just drive home in this car and not switch back to his personal car. He was like, I don't know. He did that a lot. And I realize now in 2024, he did that because he knew how excited I was to actually see the car. Because shit, I wanted to test drive it myself, to be honest with you. And he knew that. So reactions.
The reactions. Yeah. He wanted a different, it's reactions. Yeah, absolutely. Like he wanted a reaction from her because he wanted her to know that, like, even though it's not real, right? There is no company car. There is no BMW. He's not driving this car. Right. But it was all reactions. He wanted to like almost insult her a little bit, blows to her self-esteem. I'm driving the car that you wanted. I'm driving the car that you never got. My company got me this car that you wanted, that you really want, that you never got. Right. Oh, I might just take this car home. Oh my gosh. If you take it home, I want to drive it. He's getting reactions from her. It is terrible. It is awful. But that's what he's putting her through. And it's all lies. That's what's insane to me. It's all fucking lies. That is crazy. It is crazy. It's all lies. It's just lying for the sake of lying at this point. There is a company. You guys didn't want me to tell you what he did for a living, so I'm not going to. There is a company. Sorry I missed most of this, but I'm calling. He had a secret family right now. Okay. Let's keep going. I think, all right. I think we're gonna get to part 25, and then I'll just do another stream tomorrow to finish it off because we've had a good amount of people here. I can tell you guys are invested. Y'all are like sucked in. I was sucked in. Shit. All right. We might get to 25 today. I don't know. Maybe we'll get through the whole 30. I have no idea, but we'll see. We'll see how you guys feel. Okay.
So he would say stuff like that, like, man, I'm so tired. I might just drive the company car, go ahead and go home. And then, just let me park it in the garage type thing. So eventually he stopped doing that because I didn't want to hear nothing about that car. I'm driving a Nissan, you driving a BMW after you promised me a BMW. So I don't really want to hear nothing about it. So in terms of the company car, I did see that it was according to the pictures, a charcoal gray BMW 5 Series. If you're asking me the exact model, I don't know. But I know it's a 5 Series because I know the 7 Series is slightly longer. So it's a 5 Series sedan. So after the whole situation with the cemetery to see his grandmother and grandfather's headstone, then there was the NCR, the office is open. Oh, it's not open. Justin ain't working. Willie ain't working. Willie's supposed to be head of security, but he ain't working. Okay.
There's no Willie.
So at this point, I'm already numb. It is important for me to point out how numb I became dealing with him. Mind numbing, because I just got to a point where it was like, there's always something. There's always something. So of course we're not going to go to the office because there's going to be something. Yeah. So this is the end of February. My birthday had already passed. There clearly was tension on my end, not so much tension on his end. So I get home a couple of weeks later. We are now in the beginning of March. This is something personal about me. The only way you would know this is if you know me. I have been dying to go to London and Paris. I had a layover in London.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is the start of a story. Like, oh. Wow. What he does. Dude. See, I don't know why he does this. I don't know why he does this to this woman. He gets her so excited. For something, right? Gets her so excited for something that he knows will never happen. He will never deliver. It will never come. Oh. Let's go.
London when I did a study abroad, but it's not the same. I want to go to London and be a whole tourist. I don't care. I want to see Buckingham Palace. I want to see the Tower of London. I want to see Paris. I want to see the Palace of Versailles. This is something, if you know me, she wants to see Paris. She wants to see London. So I get home from work. This is the beginning of March. I get home from work, and on the counter is a folder with like a little bow on it. And I'm like, oh, what is this? Is this like mail? Like, was this something that you got at work? He's like, no, it's a surprise for you. I open up the folder.
Surprise.
Inside the folder is like a trip itinerary. It is not an actual booked trip. It's like an itinerary. A trip for two to go from Atlanta to London. The trip should have happened, and it was the month on there was like July, so it was a summer trip. So he tells me, I'm gonna take you to London. He was like, I wanted to take you for your birthday, but certain things fell through. He was like, so this summer in July, we're gonna go to London. He was like, I've already made a reservation for us to stay at the Savoy. Again, there's certain things that my brain just was like, remember that. He said,
he's so excited. She is so excited to go on this trip. It's a lifetime trip. It's where she's always wanted to go. She wants to go as a tourist. Like, that's what she wants to do. She wants to view London. She wants to go to the UK. I want to travel as a tourist. This is my what is it called? My dream destination. It is her dream destination to go be a tourist in London and see all of the sites there. He doesn't book her a trip. No, we're not booking a trip. We're just, let me just give you an itinerary. Okay, this is the itinerary. I wouldn't get excited until I saw those tickets booked. All right, I wouldn't be excited until I saw those tickets booked. Like, we are booked on a flight. That was when my excitement would kick in, right? I would want to see those tickets booked. But I don't know what happened.
I've already made a reservation for us to stay at the Savoy. I know, as much as I want to go to London, y'all, I didn't know anything about the Savoy. And so I remember going to look it up because I was like, what is the Savoy? Well, apparently the Savoy is bougie, very bougie. So I was so excited. I cannot tell y'all how fucking excited I was when I saw that he had printed out British Airways. Like, he was speaking my language. I am one of those people. I'm a planner. So when he's saying, I'm gonna take you to London, and he took the time to research flights and print it out and research the Savoy and print it out. And there were different, not excursions, but there were different things that you could do. You could go see the Tower of London. You could go see Buckingham Palace, changing of the guard. We could go have high tea at certain places. He was like, I don't really want to go, but I know you're dying to go. So he was like, I love you and I would do anything for you. Blah, blah, black sheep, have you any wool? And so he was like, I'm going to take you to London in July. The trip did not include Paris. That's fine. But I was so excited. So excited. And so this is the beginning of March. I was like, this is great. hopefully this happens. I knew I needed to renew my passport, and he was saying that he had to renew his passport as well because his passport had expired. So both of us were like, okay, we need to get on this if we're going to try to make it to London in July, and it's now March. Me being a planner I am, I think I went to work the next day and printed out the passport applications so that we could fill it out and go ahead and get that process going. So needless to say, something must have happened, and I don't remember what it was. We just simply didn't fill out the application for the passport. So fast forward, we're now at mid-March. Mid-March, the decision was made that my mom, who lived in Arkansas, was coming to visit us. She would be coming.
They ain't going to London. They're not going to London. No passports, nothing. Ain't going to London. Yeah. Get your passport before you book a trip. They're not going to London. Not going to London. Oh.
I believe the second week of April, and she was going to stay a week and then a few days. So like maybe a total of 9 days. Not quite 2 weeks, but a little over a week. So she was coming in April, and I was excited. Legion was excited because he was excited to physically meet my mom. He had talked to her on Zoom. He had talked to her on the phone, but he was excited to physically meet my mom. And my mom was excited to physically meet her son-in-law. So this is mid-March. I'm going to go into part 22 where I explain what happened with Facebook Messenger. Part 22, who the fuck did I marry? So now we are in March. This is right after he had surprised me with the announcement of we're going to go to London for a trip in July, because we definitely didn't do a honeymoon. We definitely didn't do any sort of trips together. So the idea was we're going to do a trip in July together. One thing about Legion was that he was the guy who was like, I have nothing to hide. I don't lie. I don't like liars.
I don't like liars. Ooh. I don't lie. I don't like liars. He ends up being the biggest liar and manipulator. Ooh, that just
we're in a relationship, then everything should be out in the open. So I've always had his cell phone passcode. Never felt the need to look through his cell phone. And funny enough, I can tell y'all right now, disclaimer, I will never go through his cell phone again. You cheating piece. So anyway, so one day, this is mid-March, like around March 20th. So we're heading in towards the end of the month. He was in the shower. Keep in mind, my mom is coming for a visit in April. So he was in the shower, and he received a text message on his phone from a woman. The text message, because it was a preview. So the text message was something where if you didn't know the context of the text thread, you could either go left or you could go right with it. So me being just curious, I opened up the phone, put the passcode in, read the text, then read the thread. Come to find out, it was a text from his aunt. His aunt and his ex share the same name. That's why I say it could go left or it could go right. Text was from the aunt. So I looked at the text, went through the thread, nothing in there. So I went ahead, X out of the messages. I see that he has Facebook Messenger downloaded. And obviously it shows you the number of unread messages in the icon. So it showed that he had like 5 unread messages. So I clicked on it, just being nosy. And what do my wondering astigmatism eyes see? So in his Facebook Messenger is about 7 women. I can see their profile picture. And
7 women. 7 women. Remember she said it back in January, like after they got married and stuff, like they didn't do anything in the newlyweds, and I was like, he's cheating on her. 7 women. 7 women.
And I see their names. Some of them had a preview. The ones that he had not read, I could see the preview of the message. One in particular said, when are you going to come get this? Y'all know what I'm talking about. So I clicked on that one first. And I'm reading through the thread. And so she's saying, when are you going to come get this? But earlier in the thread, or further back in the thread, he had asked her, when are you going to give me? And she said, when lockdown is over. So from what I could piece together, he had not yet physically gotten with her. But had there been no COVID, he would have smashed all day, every day. The other messages were innuendos, meaning the other messages from the other women were innuendos. They were not as graphic as the one between him and her. So I'm reading these messages, and what is interesting is that the person I am married to is not the person in these messages. Like, this man was on some nasty shit. And I say nasty, not in a judgmental way, but with me, he seemed to act as if I was damn near virginal white. And I clearly see evidence that you into some shit that with me, you acting like, nah, I ain't really into that. So
because remember when he met her, he has this whole facade, right? Had this whole facade. He is looking for a family. He is a family man. He is, he comes from a family raised in the church. Father's a pastor. They started a church. He wants marriage. He wants family. That's the image of himself that he projected onto this woman. So I guarantee, I bet these messages that she was reading was very shocking because that's not the man that he presented to her. He's a family man. Oof. Oof. We're on part 22. All right.
Confronted him. I absolutely confronted him and was like, what the fuck is this? If 2 + 2 is 4 and 5 + 5 is 10, what the fuck is this? And so he did not, oh, that ain't what happened, blah, blah, blah. Instead, what he hit me with is, man, I was just playing around. Like, ain't nothing happened. I shouldn't have said all that, but I was just flirting. It ain't mean nothing. I don't even.
I was just flirting. It ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. It didn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything. We were dating. We were living together. Married now. Engaged. Going through a miscarriage. Like, I was just flirting. I was just fooling around. Not a big deal. His reaction of like, it's not a big deal. He's trying to get her to think it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. I was just getting around. I was just playing around. Dude.
Know that girl. I was just flirting. And so I'm like, is this what you into? And so he was like, no, it's not what I'm into. It was just stupid. It was stupid because I shouldn't have done it. So I'm going to be honest with y'all because I've been honest all this time. What pissed me off the most was that here I am as a woman behaving, trying to do the right thing by him in this marriage. And you mean to tell me you out here offering your ding-a-ling to random chicks that you don't even know? I was more angry at the fact that I'm like, dude, do you know how much I have turned down?
Offering your ding-a-ling.
In order to be faithful to your dumb ass? And I'm seeing that you basically are out here acting like you got Skittles taste the rainbow. I was hurt. I was angry. I thought about getting my lick back. I'm just being honest. I did. And he played it off like it ain't nothing serious. It ain't nothing serious. Don't overreact. Don't get emotional.
Oh my God. Oh, that reaction right there. Don't overreact. Okay. Why are you getting so emotional? Don't get emotional. My dude. You are a married man right now. You're cheating. She just found out that you were cheating on her with 7 different women. And you want to tell her, don't get emotional. Don't overreact. What is the correct reaction? I'm sorry. What would be the correct reaction for you? Oh my gosh.
It was just dumb. He was like, I will delete the messages. I'll even delete Messenger. And I told him, I was like, that's really not good enough because that's not going to fix the root of the issue. So this is where I introduced that we need to do marriage counseling. He didn't have any issue doing marriage counseling. We did not do premarital counseling, but he was like, that's fine. He was like, I don't have no problem doing marriage counseling because if anything, it can help us. So I thought that, okay, he may not have physically cheated from what I could see on the messenger. He may not have physically cheated, but he damn sure got caught, doing a little something because they had exchanged pictures. So y'all know what pictures he sent. And I was disappointed because I don't like men that send those type of pictures. But anyway, that's another issue. So we agreed that we would start marriage counseling. We also agreed that we would put on a united front when my mom got there. In other words, we were not going to argue.
Oh shit! How long have you muted? Dang it! Yeah, we know what he looks like. We know what this guy looks like. I don't even remember. How long was I muted? Hold on. I gotta go back. I gotta listen. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. All right. Wow. I was muted for a long time. Yeah, I was saying that I completely forgot that her mom was coming. I completely forgot that her mom was coming to visit. Like all this happened right before her mom came to visit. So I completely forgot about that. Her mom is on her way. Like this is the first time that she is introducing her husband to her mom. I completely forgot. So this all went down right before her mom got there. Yes, we know what he looks like. Oh, okay. I got to get off here. All right. I got to get off here. I have to end the stream. I'm very sorry. I have to end the stream. You know what? We're going to put a pause. We're going to put a pause in this. I think what I'm going to do is go live because we have main event and it's starting early today. It's in like 24 minutes. So I'm going to let's put a pin in this. Okay. Let's put a pin in this. Should I go live? I wanted to go live later on Kick and Twitch to finish off some Harry Potter. So I might do that, and I'll just go live tomorrow. Or maybe after Kick and Twitch, I'll go back live on YouTube, and we'll continue the story. I don't know. But we have to put a pin in this. Stop at part 23. Okay, let's finish this part.
Let's just act like everything is fine. But at that point, when my mother arrived in April, I could not stand him. I did not want to be, but we couldn't, he moved back into our bedroom because he had moved into the guest bedroom when I saw the messages. Like 3 days before she came, he moved back into the bedroom because obviously she needed to sleep somewhere. So I really could not stand him. And it was because I was busy second guessing myself. Like, damn, what's wrong with me? Like, if that's what you into and I'm supposed to be your wife, like, let's have conversations. Like, shit, I went to FAMU. I understand some stuff, buddy. So it just was one of those things where it made me second guess, like, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? What is it that she got that I don't? Because you all out here willy-nilly, messaging her all hours of the night, because the thread went back quite a few weeks. I saw it in March. There were messages from December, November. So again, I'm just second guessing all kinds of stuff, self-esteem taking a hit. So no, I did not want to be around him. I did not want, I didn't like him, period. I did not like him. I left and I would just go for a drive because driving clears my mind. I called my aunt, told her what happened. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend calling family to tell them what's going on in your marriage. But I called my aunt, and my aunt lovingly was like, what do you want me to say? You married him. He ain't your boyfriend. Y'all can't just break up. That's the hard part about marriage. Is like, I mean, yeah, I guess you could leave him, but at the same time, you married him. So, honey, you're going to have to go back home. And y'all are going to have to figure this out. She was like, I can't give you advice on what you should do. I'm sorry that this happened, but you married him. So even though it was just one drive, I went back home. And that's when the discussion was, we need to do marriage counseling. Who the fuck did I marry?
There you go. Part 23. That was the end. So, yeah. Woo! We're going to end it there. All right. We're going to end it there. All right. We'll just do another video. We'll finish it off. We invested, right? We're invested in this story. We're going to do some more tomorrow or later on today. Honestly, I don't know. If you see a stream, if you see a stream on my channel, like pop up, then we'll finish it later on this evening. But I wanted to go live on Kick and Twitch playing Harry Potter. So I might just push this to tomorrow, honestly, because this is so much fun. This is so much fun. We are all invested in this story. We want to know what happens in this story. So we'll continue tomorrow. We will continue tomorrow. Alberta Not a Retro, Crash, Mundo, Patriot, Tara, Mike has bad knees, Mike Hill, and Vice. Thank you guys so much for the super chats and the support. I really appreciate that because 3.5 hour stream. That's a long time. That is a long stream. So yeah, we'll see you guys later. I'll see you on main event and on Kick and Twitch later tonight. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. We're going to finish this. We are going to finish this. Okay. Y'all are invested. I can tell. You can't help it. You can't help but get invested. This is a lot of drama. We're only human. We get invested in the drama. So I'll continue this tomorrow. All right. I'll see you later. Bye, everyone. Mwah!